Fuck you, homie. I'm allowed to be early sometimes, okay? It's okay for me to be early sometimes. I listen here. Listen here. Sometimes so, sometimes I get here on time, okay? And that's fine. Sometimes I show up on time. And you know what? It might be because I work from home full time now. It's easier to show up on time, all right? All right? I don't have to leave my I haven't left my house in a week. I haven't left my house in a fucking week. What? Oh, wait, no, I went and got my nails done. I forgot. Haha, never mind. I have left this week. I got my nails done. I got my nails done. Hi, guys. What's going on? What's poppin', everybody? Boy fucking howdy. Boy fucking howdy. Who do we have here? Who the fuck is in here? Thank you so much, Grim, for the resub. And the head pat. Thank you for the head pat. Thank you for the check-in. Congrats on being first, Rant Man. We got Black Jesus up with second. Extra. Thank you so much for the 13 months. 13 months. Holy shit. Hi, Jugger. Hi, Thunderbolt. Hi, Debo. Hi, Grandma. Hi, Last Hope. Hi, Matt. Hi, Yusri. Hi, Grim. What's poppin', 15 squirrels? What's good, Sakamoto? Hi, Renji. Hello, VTuber sneezes. It's more coughs than sneezes up in here. What's good, Rio? What's good, Extra? Agile. I owe you steak dinner. What if I cut off a piece of my tail? Would you be willing to accept that in lieu of meat? I feel like my tail is pretty meaty. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, look at it. Look at it. It's pretty girthy. There's a lot of meat on this. I could just like cut off a little bit and we could cook it into like some kaiju steak, right? Does that sound good? Would you guys be willing to... If I cut off a piece of my tail and fried it for you guys, would you be willing to eat it? My tail has sand on it. Where the hell have I been dipping my tail that it has sand on it? Radioactive kaiju steak? Yeah, it's nothing worse than what people in Fallout have eaten. Probably. Maybe. What's good, Debo? Hi. What's the seasoning? Montreal steak seasoning. I'll season it with Montreal steak seasoning. How about that? Sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty tippy top tier. Yum. Ayo. Good. I'm glad that some of you guys are willing to eat it. I'll even make it into like a melt. We can make it into like a sandwich for you guys. We'll have kaiju, radioactive kaiju tail, Philly cheesesteak, all right? Radioactive kaiju tail Philly cheesesteak sounds pretty sick, not gonna lie. Hi, Grey Jedi. Hi. You've had gator, snake, elk, bear, and kangaroo. You'll risk it? Yes. Thank you. I'm glad someone's willing to risk it for the biscuit. Somebody's gotta be willing to risk it. Hey, Fallen, what's good? How's the kaiju? I'm doing better. I'm still gonna have... I've got a cough still. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. I appreciate it. So we're gonna have comfy, cozy Gundam build time. However, thank you for the brushy and the hydrate, you guys. I have a friend who's gonna come help me talk so that I don't have to cough as often or can fill the void while I have a coughing fit. They've never been on the stream before. Actually, here, let me call them. Hang on. Okay, I'm ready. There we go. Hi, Archival. What's good, homie? What's poppin', my dog? Okie doke. Let's phone in a friend. You mean Blind isn't gonna model swap tonight? No, he's not. Thank you so much for the sub, Archibald.
Good morning, Vietnam and Kaiju's chat. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Hello. You're so small. This isn't lore accurate though. We got to make you smaller.
This is lore accurate. Yes, you are a kaiju.
Smaller. Smaller.
I am but a mere man.
There we go. That's we'll put you right there. That's lore accurate. There you go.
Chat, having the time of my life right now, guys. Like, let's be real here.
This is everyone's dream, basically using
Best
a giant
seat in the house.
Giant kaiju lady as Totoro.
That's right. I am the Boba Tea meme, just smaller. Smaller.
But I'm married. How dare I? I'm sorry. Yes, this is disrespectful to the new wife. That's true. My
no.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for the hype train. Holy
That's
shit.
right. That's right, chat. I'm Mr. Steal Your Girl, and I didn't do anything.
You
I
just
say
hi?
Sat here. I am Animarchyyt History. I'm a history YouTuber. Although it seems more recently, I'm professional Twitter angry man. I seem to be doing more of that than actually working, because everyone in this world just seems to be going down the absolute crazy train.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Everyone seems to have lost their fucking minds. So, yeah.
Valid.
Well, I have spent the last 2.5 weeks of my spare time, well, work time, I don't know what to call it, in between lapses of consciousness and streaming on Twitch and trying to get a hold of this streaming thing, writing a biography of Julius Caesar and then comparing it to Caesar from Caesar's Legion in Fallout New Vegas. And it was supposed to be like a fun little video. I'm looking at the video on my timeline, the audio track on my timeline. This video is 1 hour and 40 minutes long. And
Yo, bro, 1 hour and 40 minutes long comparing Julius Caesar to Fallout?
To Fallout New Vegas' Caesar, yes. Because they have a lot in common, and that's very intentional, because the writer Chris Avallone and Josh Sawyer intentionally drew a lot of comparisons and a lot of parallels between the two characters. And I was going to draw a line between the two, and then it sort of became a crash course in Roman Republican history. And
Jesus
how that
Christ,
happened,
dude.
I don't know. But yeah, there you go. That's been my week. You've been sick though.
I've been sick. I've been so sick.
There it is.
There it is. There it is. Thankfully, I'm coming out the other side of it. Wait, I know this voice. I recognize you from Laser Pigs videos, not the interest crossover I expected to see.
Which is kind of weird, because I'm the anime focused history YouTuber, or at least I was. I kind of dabble in both, right? And you would expect me to be the VTuber fiend, but Laserpig got in first and made friends with all these VTubers, which led to me befriending VTubers by proxy. And now I've fully integrated into the VTuber scene somehow, and I'm not sure how that happened, but I guess it was inevitable.
It happens to the best of us, you know?
I need to get my own model. It's just money.
You have to. So this is Animarchyyt, friends. He's a history YouTuber that has been adopted by VTubers, and so now we're having a crossover history Gundam episode. Gundam history, if you will. That's way too fucking long. There's more episodes of Gundam than there are, I think there's more episodes. I think if we watched every Gundam episode, we'd have more than One Piece.
Across multiple franchises, maybe?
Across every series and OVA that started since the 70s, yeah, I think we're at more than One Piece.
Okay, because, I am not the biggest Gundam fan, because I'm just trying... Because I'm trying to work it out. You see, I'm one of those plebs who is a casual Gundam fan because I keep popping in for the flash in the pan ones. You know what I mean? So I'm there for Iron-Blooded Orphans. I'm there for Witch of Mercury, which is peak. The Witch
Oh,
of Mercury
shit.
is peak.
Yeah. Witch of Mercury is really, really good.
I need to finish it, but it's still peak.
What's your favorite like Gundams other than Witch from Mercury? Like what'd you start with?
Iron-Blooded Orphans was the first one I'd watched.
That's a valid one. I feel like Iron Blooded Orphans is a really good one to start with.
I also liked Double O quite a lot because it was just like, yeah, we are peacekeeping Gundam. Like
Oh.
I kind of liked Double O because it.
Mm.
Did you ever watch a series or a TV show or a movie series or even have any connection to Thunderbirds? You ever see Thunderbirds International
No,
Rescue?
I haven't. Thank you for the biddies, Urkeval. I appreciate it. Hi, Cerno.
Yes,
Hello.
that's right. Give her more money, Chad. Give her more.
Biddies for usually it's biddies for titties, but today it's biddies for sickies, I guess.
Yeah, look, hey, it is what it is. We all do what we gotta do. But yeah, so I started with like Iron-Blooded Orphans. It was the first time I'd sat down, and I'd of course.
Hang on. We have a redeem. Oh fuck, I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Here, we'll put it right over you. There you go. Make me want to triple. Crushed to death, the man.
Well, yeah, there we go. There we go. You see, this is living. Chat.
This is war crimes. Canonically.
Canonically war crimes. Technically.
Canonically war
okay.
crimes.
Yeah, Iron-Blooded Orphans is dark as fuck. Like, hey, child soldiers is actually bad. Who would have thought? That's incredible.
Double O, the entire main character's personality is child soldier, so...
This sounds really bad, but I have a problem where I really like child soldier animes, and I don't know why. They just
I do
sort of,
too. It's a fucking problem. Have you watched the 86?
86 is peak.
86 is peak.
Is peak.
Hi, Neon. Hasn't watched Victory Gundam or Space Runaway Ideon. You should watch Thunderbolt. I think Thunderbolt would be right up your alley, to be honest with you.
The thing with Gundam is, it's Gundam for me is the same as the Fate franchise. And what I mean by that is I have kind of not dived into it too deep. Because I know if I do,
you're never coming back out.
I'm never coming back out. I've watched the first Gundam remastered compilation movie on Netflix, which is part 1 of the Universal Century timeline.
Yeah.
And I fucking know that if I go all the way in, I'm going to watch all of Universal Century.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I do genuinely think that you would enjoy Thunderbolt. It's very dark. Very dark.
Okay, so Thunderbolt is apparently in Universal Century, so... Yo, the art looks fire, though.
Thunderbolt. So, Thunderbolt has one of my all-time favorite mechs in it. Every woman that you ever meet who is into Gundam... This is one of her top, 5 favorite mechs. I shit you not. Every woman who loves Gundam loves a specific mech from Thunderbolt, and it's called the Psycho-Zaku. And in order to pilot the Psycho-Zaku, you have to have... You have to have all of your limbs amputated and fused into the frame.
So the mechs from XCOM Enemy Within. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Now, here's the thing. When people talk about old school sci-fi anime, right?
Uh-huh.
I feel like people, like I'm one of the outliers because everyone's a Gundam fan. Like there is a huge Gundam fandom,
Oh,
and
for sure.
it's massive. It's diehard.
For sure.
But I'm part of one of the even like it's a rarer one, but it's even more cringe.
Oh,
I
oh
I
no. What
am
is it?
I am an avowed member of Space Battleship Yamato.
What? What? Chat, do you guys know this anime? Do you guys
Space
know
Battleship
Space
Yamato?
Battleship Yamato? Any of you guys know that one? Because I've never heard of that one. Hi, Dark Knights.
Oh no!
Never heard of that
no.
anime? Me neither. Heard of it, never seen it.
There we go,
Hell
Strider,
yeah!
my boy.
There we
Yes,
go, buddy.
there we go.
Hell yeah. You got one person.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Space Battleship
couple.
Yamato.
There you go.
Wave motion gun. Yeah, it's the same generation as Gundam. Basically, there is an alien race called the Iskandars who attack Earth, and the only way Earth knows how to fight back is they resurrect the old Japanese battleship Yamato from the seafloor. Even though it exploded and split in half, but at the time when they made it, they didn't realize that's what had happened to the ship's wreck. And then they refitted it. They refitted it with like sci-fi weapons and gave it a special weapon system called the wave motion gun.
Oh, hell
Which
yeah.
is like a Death Star kind of laser beam that they require the entire ship's reactors to sort of charge up to fire. And they go out and go on a trek to save humanity, find humanity a new home, and defeat the alien threat once and for all. And it's a battleship mixed with aircraft carrier. And it flies through space.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's pretty fucking sweet.
It's kind of like Japanese Battlestar Galactica, kind of. Actually, anime Battlestar Galactica is kind of a good way of putting it. But
yeah,
there's also another classic sci-fi series which I haven't seen Macross, but I'm Macross adjacent because I love all the models. No, the other one, which I would argue is perhaps even cooler, and they recently did a remaster, which I absolutely love because the battles in it are fucking incredible, is Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Any Legend of the Galactic Heroes fans in chat? Now that, I do know.
Thank you for the check-in, Bacon. I have not heard of that one. I know about Robotech. I don't have any, like, I haven't ever watched any of it. Legend of the Galactic Heroes is the goat of space opera. I feel so uncultured. Yeah. Me too. Me too.
Legend of the Galactic
I'm over
Heroes
here. Okay, so the next series that I've watched that I'm really into, obviously Gundam, obviously the 86. Hi Lindsay. Hi.
86 is
86 is peak. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Oh god. The ending of the anime. Oh, that's a fucking flashback. Escaflowne. I haven't heard that name in a long time. I haven't even watched it. I just know it exists because it was like a big thing.
Hi, Super. Can we get a shout out for Super?
It's kind of like a Full Metal Panic for Mofu kind of thing, where it's just like, oh yeah, that's right, that exists.
Also, hi Zeke. Hi Dave. Thank you for the check-in, David. Yeah, Escaflowne is essentially like, I think it's not like Full Metal Panic. I think it still might be the only isekai mecha that exists. With the traditional Inuyasha style sucked into a portal mecha pilot situation.
Oh god.
yeah, it's a wild. And so it's like power fantasy, but like fantasy mecha.
That is kind of wild.
It's
now
beautiful.
Here's the question. Here's the one thing that's always fun to do, and I hope it's a yes. Do you have a My Anime list, Kaiju?
I never update it. Oh, Aura
Oh.
Battler Dunbine is another one where he's sucked into another world and has to pilot a mecha. Oh, I've never heard of that one. Predates
Goddamn.
Escaflowne. Oh, shit. Hi, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome. Magic powered mech. There's a lot of magic powered mech animes out there.
You see, like, the one thing that gets me about mecha anime is just once you're in, you can't really escape. Because you see, to me personally, there is only one goat of mecha anime. And maybe it's just because of the generation of weeb that I am. But it's Code Geass. Like, without a doubt.
Oh, Code Geass is good. Yeah.
Like, Code Geass just clears.
Yeah.
Absolutely clears. Because Lelouch is just such a great character.
Yeah. This is the Pharact. Yeah, we are building the Pharact today. I should pin it at the top of chat. Usually we pin the I have to pull up the instruction booklet so I can pin it at the top of chat so everyone can follow along. Hang on. Let me look that up. Code Geass is sick. Like next month is the new season. Oh for real?
I'd have to rewatch Code Geass. Like, I have to rewatch all of it.
Yeah, I would need to rewatch it. It's old.
Poor old Euphemia. Poor old Euphemia got murdered. That's okay.
Yeah. What? Because Code Geass originally came out in, like, what? 2005, I want to say? Was it in that? No. It was way later. It was like a 2010s anime, wasn't it?
No, Code Geass was the same generation as Death Note, I'm pretty sure.
So 2005. No. 20... We're finding out.
Code Geass, Lelouch, the Rebellion
2006!
was...
I was so fucking close! I was really fucking close.
It ran at the same time with Death Note, which is why AO3, yes, I know what that is, had a huge amount of Light Yagami versus Lelouch fanfiction for ages. Like, the predecessor to AO3, like, basically all the fan fiction sites were filled with Light versus Lelouch. And Lelouch would usually win, because Light Yagami is a fucking moron. Light is so stupid. He plays like he's some god-tier supervillain, but he's genuinely crap. He's genuinely crap. Like, I could have beaten L. I could have beaten L as Light Yagami. Also, can we just point out that his whole fucking plan for making the world a better place was killing all the criminals. And I'm like, bro, 90% of criminals, besides, the child molesters and serial killers and so forth, that sort of crowd, besides them, 90% of criminals just had a bad luck in life or were hustling drugs to pay for shit, right? No, they're not Grandmaster Doomslayer death. If you want to fucking make the world, like, if I had a Death Note right there, and you sat me down and said, you've got to use this killing tool to make the world of a better place, it would take me 2 seconds. Elon Musk run over by a Tesla. Underline. Exclamation mark. Like, first moment, sat down, like you want to...
Jesus Christ, dude.
You want to affect change in society. And then you just kill a bunch of criminals who have already been caught, by the way. They're in prison. They're on the news. They've already been caught, right? You don't go after billionaires. You don't go after war criminals dodging justice. You don't kill Putin or something. No. You just start killing the guy who robbed the fucking liquor store. Like, what kind of asshole are you?
It's not 95% of criminals, but you're not all are necessarily evil. Yeah, most aren't. Most are just people who fuck up, to be honest. But I feel like Light Yagami, have you seen the hang on, I'm gonna pull up this meme real quick.
gonna take this potato chip and I'm gonna eat it.
I have a meme. Oh god, I have no idea where I'm gonna find it. I don't think I'll be able to.
There you go.
But it's essentially, it's like Brad Pitt, and he's like sipping. It's a clip from a movie, and it's like Brad Pitt sipping whiskey with his pinky out, like looking super smart, and it's like my character. Me as the role player, and it's like the same scene except sipping a monster instead. My 18-int character versus me who's playing it, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened to Light Yagami, is that they're like, oh, it's this super smart self-insert, like, hyper-intelligent, gonna save the world god complex guy, but then the person actually writing the novel has, like, average fucking intelligence, and is, trying to write, like, I have this peak smart character who's, like, a super over-the-top, like, intelligent guy, but, like, in reality, they can't even think 5 steps ahead of themselves.
Bro, it's just so fucking bad. And you see, Atma-kun, that's right. You see, according to Light in the manga, the rich and politicians did nothing wrong. Bro, they are responsible for 99% of the evils in this world. And that's not me being on my, like, you know, Bernie Sanders grift. I'm just genuinely being serious. If you look at all the worst people in human history, you think of, like, you know, Henry Ford, for example. Modern anti-Semitism is based on the ideologies perpetuated by Henry Ford, right? But under Light Yagami's logic, no, he earned everything he got and he's perfectly fine. He's a great guy. But the guy who stole $20 so he could buy his wife, like, you know, a present on her birthday or some bullshit like that. Nah,
Death.
He dies.
Death.
Death for you, right?
Death today.
Getting a wee bit too political. Yeah, you can't avoid it when talking about Light Yagami, because the entire thing is so stupid. Like, he wants to create the world's utopia and end it and everything, and yet he just kills petty criminals and murderers who have already been caught by the cops 9 times out of 10. And I'm just like, you could do so much. You could get rid of dictators, you could get rid of, like, corrupt politicians, you could do anything like that, but you let all of them live. And you just kill people already caught by the police. And then when he gets challenged on live television, like, when I watched it the first time, I had no context. I went into Death Note blind, which is kind of silly, seeing as I watched it like 2 years after it came out, right?
Right.
This is when
you went into Death Note blind 2 years after it came out?
Yeah. I had
Holy
not
shit.
much. I only knew the basics of what.
Oh, I'm curious. How old are you?
I am
okay with sharing
30.
that.
I'm 30.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, so we're the same age, basically.
Okay, I was worried that we weren't.
What? How old did you think I was?
I thought you were a bit younger than me. I thought you were like 24, 25.
I get called out for people thinking I'm young. It's just the voice. I just have a young person's voice.
We hag-maxing, chat. Give subs for hag-maxing.
Yeah. It was actually, sadly, we had to cancel all my birthday stuff a couple weeks ago because I got hella sick. And it was my 31st birthday. 31st. Yeah. Yippee.
And this is my point, Neon, right? This is my point. Like, the one thing that pissed me off about Light is I understand he has the dumbest ideology ever in the history of ever. Besides that point, besides all of that, there's one thing I can't forgive. It's the fact that he brought out like the guy on TV, right? He brought out the dude on TV. L brought out the dude on TV and basically said, I'm here to defeat Kira, and I'm here to do this sort of thing. Like, I'm watching this and I'm like, bro, my brother in Christ, Light, my G, my Don, big man. Do you not see the glaring sign that says trap written over it? Like, do you not look at this and go, if I just refuse
like
to
I said,
engage.
I'm pretty sure it was a bad case. And I run into this with D&D all the time because I'm willing to admit, and I'm sure chat is also jumping at the bit to admit that I'm not the brightest bulb in the shed. I'm not dim, but I'm not exactly the brightest by any means. Um, but I play a lot of tabletop RPGs, right? And so whenever I play like high intelligent characters, I have to be like, we need some kind of like hints from the DM of what would the smart person do in this situation, because in character probably could think of it, out of character like I couldn't find my way out of a box, you know.
Yeah,
Personally.
I think we could all. I think like, there you go. Like David. Right, you're not the dullest tool in the shed, and I'll tell you why. I tell you why you're not the dullest tool in the shed. Because just before this very sentence, just before Kaiju's choice of framing for this lack of intelligence, which I dispute, but going on, might not be a disputable point, because she said she's not the brightest bulb in the shed, which she's mixing two metaphors.
Exactly.
Two euphemism. Sharpest tool in the shed or brightest bulb in the box. Like, the two different metaphors, but it's okay. We forgive her. She's got an illness. So you're doing better right now, David. Don't sell yourself short. And there you go, Neon.
Sometimes mixing metaphors is better, you know? And like sometimes, you know what's really fun is just like coming up with like absolutely nonsensical metaphors that sound like they mean something but don't actually mean anything. It's all water under the fridge, exactly.
You see, that actually makes sense, because then your fridge is broken. And you're just going to need to get over it. We'll burn
that bridge when we come to it. Agreed.
Ah,
with
yes.
that.
Ah, yes. The Genghis Khan maneuver.
Hi, Flaming. You guys have sheds?
Yes.
I actually don't have a shed. No. Do you have a shed?
I have a shed.
Oh, fuck. Look at you.
I don't go in there because...
What's in it?
Australia, so Huntsman.
Australia?
Trust me, not safe in Australian sheds. You never go in Australian sheds.
All sorts of critters probably in there.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, snakes, spiders, you name it.
We get scorpions where I'm at is our party.
So yeah, so Neon, I get you. Light is an egotist, and that's the thing, right? But that's why Light is so dumb. Not only is his entire ideological position flawed, he is just... He can get undone by the simplest play. It's like, you know what it is? Light...
Not only does he get undone by the simplest plays, he literally has a cheat code by having a Shinigami right there that could back him up and like give him behind the scenes actions on what the fuck's happening, and he doesn't utilize it like at all. Like at all. And I like, understandably the Shinigami isn't necessarily there to help him with stuff, but...
And the thing with Light is, right, here's me. I'm trying to self-insert into this glorious murderous power fantasy here. Here's teenage me, and teenage me was a piece of shit. If I could go back in time, I'd belt him, because teenage boys, especially smart teenage boys, which, again, egotist that I am, I will concede to being one, smart teenage boys are also the most self-centered, arrogant pricks in the world, right?
Are they? I don't know. I've never been a teenage boy before. I'm willing to try it, though. I don't know how feasible that is, but...
Oh, it's teenage boys. If a teenage boy is clever, he is also an insufferable cunt. Excuse me, that's not the word. We can't say that on Twitch camera.
Are we allowed to say that on Twitch? I don't know.
I'm an Australian. It's
allowed.
Just,
I'm Canadian, so I'll say it gets a pass. We don't have any. Technically, there's no Americans in the VC.
Thank you, Akira. Thank you.
Thank you for the biddies, Akira. Hi, I'm Still a bit sick. So we got a buddy here helping me with talking. He's got the Australian card. Yeah, you got the Australian card. You've got the
Yeah.
C word pass.
Yeah. But yeah, like this is the thing, right? This is the thing. Even I back then was looking at Light's plan, and I'm just like, bro, you're so fucking stupid. Like, I'm just like, you know, like, maybe it's just because I'm autistic or something, but which is guaranteed I am, most definitely, but when I looked at, like, all his plans for, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna change this, I'm gonna get him to go here, and then I'm gonna plant this, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, you could avoid all this hassle by just doing three things.
You could have.
Like, if he had chosen not to rise to the bait, by L would have taken, like, months, if not years, to narrow down where Kira is. Right? And, like, even that, like, if he had just played it smart. And also, you could, again, like, he's just killing all these criminals, again, not from an ideological perspective, like, hell, you with a little bit of planning, you could conceivably kill all the people that you'd wanted to kill, and no one would suspect it. No one. Like, he could have avoided suspicion. Like, he went in, he used his dad's access. He used his dad's access to the police registry to carry out his killings, right? And I'm like, okay, have you read any history books whatsoever about counterintelligence? At least once. By the fact that, like, he's doing that would, any investigator with even the most remote talent in investigation would be able to work out that only a certain number of people would have access to the names of the people he killed.
Also, so it's just like, follow Kyo Sensei.
So yeah, like, exactly, Strider. Like, Light gets his manhood jerked off by the anime community even to this day, and he's just a moron.
He is a moron.
So
a little
this
bit.
is why the only reason why I rate Death Note as high as I do, and I really do like Death Note, is because it is also simultaneously one of the most bingeable anime ever made.
It is bingeable, for sure.
You just have to keep watching because you need to know how it ends.
Thank you so much for the follow, Evil.
Nepo baby, yes.
I have not watched or even talked about Death Note in, God, I have no idea how, ages. Holy shit, dude. It's been a minute.
Okay, let's keep these conversations going. We'll move on from Death Note. Let's move some more fun stuff. Animarchyyt, hello. There's an anime. Azumanga Dao. Now there's a classic.
Are you watching Kaiju number 8? I don't want to talk about spoilers because I'd feel bad if people are waiting for it to finish airing. But are you watching
I haven't seen Kaiju number 8 yet. No, I've been busy keeping up with some other shows. The show that I have been keeping up with at the moment is, I hate the English title for it. Sentai Daishikaku. Sentai Daishikaku. Which my friend was a definitely legal 100% straight up legal, definitely legal Twitch scan later and translator for.
Yep.
Definitely legal. Definitely not on Mangadex or anything. Who's translated it as Ranger Reject, but the official English title is Go Loser Ranger.
Oh, I've heard of that one. It's been on my to watch list. Isn't it on
it's on Disney.
One website, High Dive?
I believe it's on Disney, actually.
Disney?
Yeah, Sentai Daishikaku or Go Loser Ranger.
Is it on Disney?
I'm pretty.
I don't have Disney, so that's probably why I haven't watched it.
Go, Loser Ranger. Disney platform distribution, yep.
Dang it. Rip.
Ripped
Rip.
on me.
Don't have Disney.
Which is funny. Because, look.
Opinions on Bleach. Dude, I watched like 5 episodes of the first season of Bleach, and that was it. So I don't really have an opinion to give on it.
I'm not a Bleach guy myself. I will say this. Long form shonen. I think with long form shonen, especially some of the more like episodic ones, you really have to go in at the start of them. Right?
You do. Yeah, you really
have
do.
to be there. You have to be there at the start. Like, if you asked me, like right now, I love My Hero Academia. I do. I really like it. It's a great series. I'm invested in My Hero Academia. Right? But if you asked me now, if I hadn't watched season 1, right, when it came out,
Yeah.
if you asked me right now, walked up to me, a fresh fan, and said, one of the greatest shonens ever is My Hero Academia, which I think it genuinely is, at least in it. It's like in the top 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to watch all 7 seasons. I'd look at you and just be like, nah.
You're crazy. Absolutely not.
It's like with Black Clover as well. I'm like, I saw a couple episodes of season 1 and I was just like, nah, bro. Black Clover, it ain't it. It ain't it.
I couldn't watch Black Clover either, but it was just because the kid wouldn't stop screaming.
Exactly.
And it drove me up the wall. Like, I could not deal with the fact that the main character in Black Clover could not for a goddamn second stop screeching at the top of his lungs. And I understand, like, I've been told, like, oh, it gets better later on. Like, he stops screeching all the time. But at the same time, it shouldn't be like an expectation that I'm gonna hold on until like the anime gets to a point where he stops being an annoying little shit.
I know this is really, really absolutely awful, but I know it was also the intended outcome by the people who made it. But I only really started getting into One Piece because of the live action.
Oh.
Because I watched the live action. The reason is, for the same reason, like, One Piece is just so long, I was like, man...
Yeah.
It's gonna be a struggle.
I've started and stopped One Piece a handful of times, personally. I think the longest I've gotten is up to, like, episode... I'm gonna say, like, 150? As far as shows go, like, that's pretty deep into a show, but as far as One Piece goes, that's like, you're not even scratching the surface of One Piece, you know?
Alright, look. I understand Attack
so
on Titan.
So 1/10 of the way in, yeah.
I understand Attack on Titan. I am an Attack on Titan fan. I like Attack on Titan. The political discussions around Attack on Titan are really interesting, and I love talking about that. But at the end of the day, as a show... Attack on Titan is just really engaging, and it's not as long as the other shows, right? It's not as long as other shonen action series. Like, Attack on Titan in total, I think, is like 100 episodes in total.
Oh.
And his name is John C.
Sockzoo, you legend!
Hello! Welcome in! Thank you so much for the...
Yep.
Thank you
so much for the raid! Here we go.
How was your stream, homie? Hope you had a good stream. What were you up to? Can we get a shout out here? Bless you. Thank you. Thank you. Here, let me give you a shout out here real quick.
60... 82...
Oh, shit! Hi, yes!
And his name is John C.
Hello! Welcome in, Raiders! Hi!
Oh my god!
2 raids in a row! Holy shit! Thank you, Sockzoo and Gaz for the raid. Hi. Everybody, please go give Sockzoo and Gaz A follow. Hitting you with the double wife raid. Oh, thank you. How have you been? I feel like we haven't talked. Reno, thank you so much for the sub. Hi guys, my name is Maki, also known as Kaiju Kanajo. I'm very sick with pneumonia and building a Gundam, so I have my friend Animarchyyt here hanging out, helping me talk a little bit today. I'm a Kaiju VTuber. We're 360 feet tall, Kaiju VTuber.
Yep, I'm just here, lurking and getting into fights with chat about anime because, you know, that's entertaining. That's entertaining.
It is. We're basically, I'm building the Gundam Pharact right now. I build Gunpla every Monday. And we are talking about some anime. Basically, we just finished arguing about Death Note for like 30 minutes.
Because Light is an idiot. Oh, okay. So, Attack on Titan. I'm looking it up now. In total, there are around 105, 106 episodes of Attack on Titan. Right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so there's 94 episodes of the television series, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of like TV films.
Yeah.
Right? So if we were to round it up in terms of like episode count, it's probably like around 120 episodes in terms of content length, right? And that's for the entire thing.
Yeah,
that's for the whole thing. That is like 2 arcs of One Piece and Naruto, right? And Attack on Titan goes through discussions about colonialism, it talks about genocide, it talks about race relations.
Literally
it goes into all these, every single controversial topic. Like war, peace, essay, all these controversial topics. It has there's an arc of there's an arc of episode for each one of those topics, and then it culminates into a grand battle for the survival of human civilization. And it does all that in 120 episodes, right?
Which is 1/10 of One Piece.
Which is 1/10 of One Piece, right?
Speaking of, on that note, I did look it up. To be caught up on all of One Piece right now, 438.8 hours. To be fully caught up on every single episode and OVA of Gundam, 500 hours.
God damn. Okay, so there you go, like, Raisin, right? One Piece does as well, which is one thing I love about One Piece, because from what I've seen of, like, the individual arcs and movies and stuff that I've, like, consumed along with the live action, right? The themes and commentaries that Oda is making about society, right, are really on point. Which is why I was so annoyed when I saw a bunch of reviewers on YouTube and elsewhere being all like, thank God for One Piece, for the One Piece live action and for Japanese cinema to come along and make something that's not political like in the West. And I'm like, bro, have you watched One Piece? Bro, what?
Also, I just want to say real quick, Tazilla, Adming, Victoria Max, thank you so much for the follows. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. One Piece is a great long form story. It is good long form story for sure.
I like it. I love One Piece, especially because
really like One Piece. I keep trying to sit down and finish it. It's just that like every time so here's my method of watching One Piece. All right. I feel like One Piece, especially because I'm still in some of the older stuff, you know? One Piece is my getting stuff done TV show because, like, especially when it's, like, the older episodes of One Piece, that, like, early 2000s anime style where like the action scenes were like a ridiculous amount of build up and filler, essentially. You know? So, if I put on One Piece on my iPad and I wash dishes at the same time, 9 times out of 10, I'm not gonna miss any of the important scenes because once I actually hear something being discussed instead of just like power ramping, I can zoom back in and look over at the iPad next to the sink.
Yeah, look, okay, I watched all of Dragon Ball Super while video editing, right? Same thing. Because I talk a lot about, hating long form shonen, yet who is also a massive hypocrite because he's a Dragon Ball fan? Me. Hello. That is me.
That's valid.
And although again, I will say I'm a Dragon Ball fan for the same reason that I'm a My Hero fan, and for the same reason I think some people are One Piece fans, which is you were there at the start on the ground floor, so you're already like you're not trying to condense your viewership, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've been watching for 10 years, so like you're already in, right?
Right.
Whereas like would I tell someone, hey, go watch Dragon Ball Z today? I'm like, no, go watch Kai. Watch Kai. If you want to watch Dragon Ball, or even, and I know this is gonna be fucking crazy, Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Because in the later parts of Dragon Ball Z Abridged, yes, it's a comedic dub, but the plot points and story beats are still pretty much the same. So, like, oh my god, more raid!
Oh shit, another raid! Holy fuck. Hi, Functional. Hi, thank you so much for the raid, my guy. Welcome in, homies. My name is Maki, also known as Kaiju Katajo. We've got Animarchyyt here hanging out. We're talking about anime today. How's your stream, my guy? Oh, I forgot to ask Gaz if Gaz is still hanging out. How was your stream, too? Sorry, we got straight into One Piece immediately after Gaz raided. How's your guys' nights going? Thanks, Rio. I appreciate it. And yeah, I have seen Rising of the Shield Hero. I'm not like a huge fan of isekais. Oh, holy fuck, dude. Holy fuck, Skullender. Thank you so much for the VIP redeem? Bro.
Okay.
Dude.
Okay.
Thank you so much for watching for so much to hit 69 420 points. Dude. Thank you. There you go. Enjoy your VIP. Enjoy your sticker. It was fun scaring Funk. I was watching earlier. Funk is off to my homeland, my territory, my stomping grounds, is taking a vacay to Canada tomorrow. Have a great night, yes. Thank you so much for the raid again. Have a good one. My DMs are always, I'll hit you up on them, D. I'll slide right in there. Just you wait. I'll slide into those DMs. Dear God. Okay. We're slowly dying just a little bit today.
Slowly dying?
Slowly dying.
I apologize if my audio gets a bit weird for a second here. Did my audio go weird?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Alright. I need to do something.
Was I accidentally sharing the music to you? It shouldn't have been. It just stopped randomly.
No. I'm just making sure. I get this ready for when I discuss this. All right.
What are we discussing?
So I'm switching to my headset mic for a second because I need access.
Okay, audio's weird now.
Yeah, I need access to this. I know my audio is weird now, but I need access to this.
We talking mecha now? I don't know what we're about to talk, to be honest with you.
Okay, so I'm playing music, or at least I should be playing music.
You are.
Yeah, I should.
Yep.
Okay, yes. So we're discussing Rising of the Shield Hero briefly, and when someone mentions when someone mentions Rising of the Shield Hero to me, I start playing this song in my head. So you see, the reason I start playing the Battle Hymn of the Republic in my head is because every time I think about Rising of the Shield Hero, my inner spirit, I get possessed by the spirit of John Brown. Because if I have to see another slavery isekai, if I have to see one more slave harem, I am grabbing my musket. I'm grabbing my musket.
Oh no!
And I'm marching down to Dixie, my friends. If I have to see one more slave harem, if I have to see one more isekai where the main character is just okay with purchasing people, there's going to be a reckoning. There is going to be a reckoning. His soul goes marching on in another world. Yes, I've read it, and he will. He will go marching on in another world, because I will find Naofumi, and I'm going to show him what bleeding Kanto looks like. All right.
That's valid. Inspirational.
Back to my studio mic.
That deserves a round of applause, everybody. Can we get some emotes in chat? Can we get some claps in chat for Animarchyyt?
I swear to God, it's just like, hi, I'm in another world and I'm going to be the hero. Congratulations, absolutely, we're going to go fight the Demon King. But first, let me purchase a person. Hold on a minute. You're the fucking hero? You're the hero? No, you're not the hero. I'm going to shoot you and anyone who comes up. Like, if I get isekai'd into another world and there's a slavery system, the Demon Lord can fucking wait. I'm going to point over at the Demon Lord and I'm going to be like, excuse me for a moment. I've got something else to do first.
Yeah. Also, thank you, Amanda and Mr. Nightingale, for the follows. Yeah. Can I... Okay. Can I... So... There is a slavery isekai that I am reading right now.
Oh, no.
But... It's girl-coded, so it makes it a little bit more okay, I think.
So she owns him. Okay.
She owns him, and then she... it's spicy.
Cue the music back up. Yeah,
So maybe... Junior J. Rogers, thank you so much for the follow. Anyway... It's much more tame than the one that chat recommended me about the dude who gets down with trees. So, have you heard that one? Have you read that one?
About the guy who gets down with trees?
Trees.
Like actual trees?
Like actual trees. Like he's a complete neat loser virgin. Not dryads. He finds a tree with a nice hole in it. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
and he has a tree harem. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yo, baby.
Yo,
I like the way your leaves photosynthesize.
It's Zeus we're talking about. Exactly.
Your orchard is bountiful and wide. Oh wow, what a yeah.
Thank you so much, Crow and Yellow, for the follow. I've been sick, right? Obviously. And I've been too sick to sit at my computer. So the only thing that I've been doing is I've been reading approximately 300 to 500 chapters of manga and manhwa a day.
Oh boy.
So when you've been reading that much manga and manhwa in like one go, You unfortunately get to the end of good things and you immediately move on to like the absolute pinnacle of trash, you know? Because it's all that's left is like scraping the bottom of the barrel of like whatever like shitty light novel decided to get a manga or manhwa adaptation at like the lowest possible budget that the studio could afford. And I've been reading a lot of trash lately. We've got the Tree Dude is one of them. The slave harem reverse harem thing, but it's like the girl that owns people. What else do I have? It's not really scraping when it's the majority. That's fucking true. On the flip side, I have been really, really into wuxia lately. Do you ever read wuxia?
That's Chinese, isn't it?
Yeah, so
You see-
wuxia is like the like cultivation fantasy, like cultivation sword meditation fantasy with like it's Dragon Ball. Essentially. Just repeated with more meditation.
So, like, I'm not the biggest manga reader. I'm one of those anime-only losers, generally speaking. I read the manga occasionally. I read the manga occasionally if I think the anime series that didn't get completed is good enough. Right? Generally speaking. I'm one of those guys.
Here, I'll show you. This is how far into the manga before the anime I go. Hang on. Not only am I like super into reading manga, but I will read it before it's translated.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
artwork's pretty.
Yeah, I love this one. This is actually a really cute one. This is like
You
one
see-
of my favorites.
As I say, sentences that you wow, that is really nice, actually.
Isn't this a pretty one? This is The Flying Witch is what this series is called. Which actually, to be honest with you, it's also way better if you're like collecting manga to buy it in Japan too, just because of the price difference alone for a manga, purchasing it over there and bringing it back to the US. Because in the US, translated manga is like what, like $8 to $10 for a book, essentially.
Yeah.
Versus 250 yen, that's like $1.25 per book.
Yeah. It's a bit more expensive here in Australia, obviously, because everything's more expensive down here. But yeah, genuinely, generally, yeah. You see, with manga, the thing is, I have read like to completion maybe. Well, I'm trying to think now. What manga have I read? The Haruhi Suzumiya manga.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
may lurk, but I continue my
The
support
Melancholy of
our
Haruhi
Kaiju
Suzumiya.
queen.
Mainly because Kyoto Animation didn't fully adapt it, so I needed more.
Oh,
'cause
thank you so
Haruhi
much
is
for the
life.
sub, T-Dog. Haruhi Suzumiya
the-
was a good anime. That was a good fucking anime.
It is probably the one that has the most personal meaning to me. Like it's not my favorite show and it's not the best show, but it's the one that has the most emotional significance, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's valid.
It hits something somewhere. As for like manga that I just had to keep reading, did you ever watch a series by the name of School Live
School Live.
or School Live?
School Live. No, I don't think so.
If you haven't, that series, you should always go in 100% blind. Like 100% blind. You do not know what's going in. Watch the anime, and go in 100% blind. Don't Google it. Don't look up anything. Just find a stream to watch it and just watch the first episode.
Chat, have you guys seen School Live before?
I was hooked on that one after I finished because it didn't get a continuation. And so after I picked up where the anime left, and I just kept going. The other manga I completed is because I was very, very sad that the author got terminally ill and couldn't complete the series, which is why there was no second anime series, even though it was already renewed. Madman had renewed it, but the author got sick and couldn't continue. And it, of course, is a classic from the golden era of anime. The moment of awakening for many of us young anime fans. I'm sure if you know the story of why it didn't get a season 2. There we go, Raisin. There we go. High School of the Dead.
Oh, that's a throwback, dude. That's a throwback for sure.
Absolute classic.
Yeah, that is a classic. That is a classic. I love School Live. Manga is great. Anime is great for messing with my friends. Well, and then it's also interesting seeing like how different anime adaptations can be from the manga specifically. Like sometimes they do, because I'm a heavy. I don't necessarily read manga too often anymore. I used to read a lot of manga. I mostly read manhwa nowadays, which is the Korean version. Thank you for the check-in, Coleman.
I read a lot of manhwa too.
Which the Korean version of like the Korean manga, when Korea decided that they were going to start producing like comics, essentially, they sort of followed down like a combination of like the Japanese style, anime style, sort of Eastern anime art, comic manga art. However, they took notes from Western webcomic makers. And so all manhwa is full color and formatted to be read on your cell phone.
Yep.
So it's like it's peak consuming for me.
You see, manhwa for me, as I said, information you shouldn't be allowed to get out of someone without a Glock and a jug full of gasoline, to quote Russian Badger. I read manhwa, but I read manhwa in the same way that Book Talk reads books. Because manga...
You read it for the smut?
Manga is better art-wise and story-wise. But the Koreans, for whatever reason...
They make some good shit, dude.
Dude, Korean hentai is fucking
God,
peak.
Yeah.
Korean hentai. Like, Japanese hentai doesn't even come
Japanese
close.
hentai doesn't hold a flame to Korean hentai. No.
Korean hentai
oh
is
my
just...
God. Yeah, it's next level. Okay, so here's the thing that I fucking love about Korean hentai too, is that in Japan, like, it's almost entire, like, the way Japan is split, and I don't know if it's just the culture over there, but all of the hentai is male-coded, except for yaoi. So it's like, as a woman, the only option for, like, Japanese hentai is to sit down and read yaoi, which, like... I'm not going to say that I haven't, but it's not, like, my cup of tea, you know? Like, it's not, you know, like, I'll read it, I'll connoisseur occasionally, but...
Okay. Now, hear me out, chat. Hear me out. Now, let's say, I'm talking about a friend, of course. I'm talking about a friend.
A friend, yeah, it's only a friend.
Yeah, it's only a friend. It's about a friend, of course. Yeah. Like, it's a guy I know. But I definitely didn't read a serialized smart manhwa because it was simultaneously engaging and also the hottest shit I have ever read. Okay? There is a manhwa called Excuse Me, This Is My Room. And is it good story-wise? No. Absolutely not. It is basic as shit. But the girls and the scenarios, quotation marks, are so fucking good. The girls are so hot.
The girls in manhwa are so hot that it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Like one character from that manhwa named Yunji. Oh my lord! Like I'd go to prison for thinking the things I thought about that woman. Like straight up, like Jesus, Ryan. It is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, Korean manhwa, the smut manhwa is just hits different, bro.
They do
It's
women
different.
so well. Because it's like a completely different style than hentai. And it's just like, fuck, I can't even. Like, it's just so good. And like, there's so much out there. There are so many options with like budgets behind them and full color. I can't.
Actually,
I have been, I dabble.
okay, who's the author? Who is the author?
I dabble a little bit. Korean artist OK Jarvis, pull up the tags, filter by current popularity, bring up the TikTok and layer over what can be applied over to each other, playback for ideas. Yeah. You want to hear what Animarchyyt has to say about Chainsaw Man?
Chainsaw Man.
I liked the manga. I thought
really,
the manga was better than the anime.
I really don't want to be that guy, but
You didn't like it?
overrated is what I'd say.
The
about Chainsaw Man.
I think the issue is it got really hyped because the manga was really good. I mean, like, the manga was funny and punchy and had comedic timing, and I feel like it just didn't translate well to an animated medium. Like, it was funny and punchy in the way that comic books are funny and punchy, you know? And we've seen enough bad comic book films and TV shows to know that it doesn't always translate over very well. It takes, like, a really dedicated and, like, thoughtful effort to try and get things to translate over well from that sort of medium. Specifically that style of, like, punchy, funny. The manga itself felt like Deadpool, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked... I enjoyed Chainsaw Man. I enjoyed Chainsaw Man because, like, it was okay, it was fun, but everyone was saying this is the greatest thing since God ever came out, and then I was like, I watched it, I was like, the art style's cool, the music of Chainsaw Man goes hard, the music was fire.
No, I felt that the anime was like a little bit of a letdown from the manga, personally.
Yeah, like, I didn't read the manga, and so when I went in as an anime only, I was meh. Jujutsu Kaisen, on the other hand, holy shit, that shit goes so hard. I rate JJK over Chainsaw Man. If we're going by anime adaptations, JJK is over Chainsaw Man head and shoulders.
I like
Head and
Jujutsu
shoulders.
Kaisen a lot. Yeah. I like it a lot. I am not caught up. I still need to watch the newest season, but I'm caught up on the manga.
The Shibuya arc of JJK
Yeah.
is fucking unreal.
Yeah. The manga went hard during that arc. Although, to be honest, the manga during that arc got a little bit boring because it got, like, a little shonen-y, you know, where it's just like fight scene after fight scene after fight scene after fight scene, you know?
Yeah,
Non-stop.
but that's why it kind of works.
For an
That's why it
anime,
kinda
it
works for
works
anime.
better because in an anime, Especially because Jujutsu Kaisen the manga is a black and white manga, so it just doesn't have the same impact necessarily that animating it would.
Yeah, it just hits different, and not only that, the way they did it, from what I gathered, because my friend who definitely did legal scanlating for definitely legal Sentai Daishoku, also watched it with me, and he was sort of talking to me about it, and he was really impressed with it because the way they structured. Yo, Penguin Walker, thank you for the raid.
Hi, thank you so much for the raid, Penguin. Welcome in, Raiders. My name is Monkey, also known as Kaiju Kanajo. We got Animarchyyt here. We're hanging out, chatting about anime and building the Gundam. How was your stream, Penguin? Let me get your shout out here real quick.
JJK, like, the way they sort of structured the Shibuya arc in the anime was they put, like, timestamps on the screen and showed everyone's POV per episode and, like, their fight scene. And then it sort of panned out and pieced it in together. So, like, you were able to track where everyone was in Shibuya at any one time during the anime. Which I've heard made it better than the manga, because the manga was just, like, fight, and then, like, skipped over
Yeah, the manga
everything.
was like fight.
Dude,
And it got a little stale.
The Shibuya arc in the anime was so fucking god tier. It was god tier. There was not a single second of filler. There was not a single break. It just went.
I'll have to watch it. It's been on my list of to-dos. But frankly, I've been rewatching Gundam 00. So that's been taking up a bit of my time.
You're doing an anime rewatch as well. I'm doing an anime rewatch at the moment as well. I'm rewatching my favorite shonen, actually.
Oh, what are you rewatching?
I'm rewatching Food Wars.
Oh god, I hate Food Wars. Oh god, no. I can't. I got so fed up with, like, blue-haired girl was best girl, and why did they have to keep trying to pair him with the blonde girl? Like, I hated that. Every bit about it. We all knew that blue-haired girl was the best girl.
Yeah,
and, like, they just can't let best girl win for even a minute.
The funny thing is, with blue-haired girl and blonde-haired girl, neither of them win.
I didn't know that. That's okay.
Nope.
I'm not gonna watch it.
Neither of them win. Neither of them win because redhead Himedere wins.
Oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Erina wins. Okay, I don't blame you, because I'm guessing you dropped out of Food Wars around halfway through Season 2 or after Season 1, right?
What's wrong with Food Wars? I loved it. For me, like, it was very fan servicey, which 100%. Is not coded for people like me, obviously. It was fan servicey towards guys, for sure. Like, you know, I'm not against people watching fan servicey shows. Like, I have watched my fair share of, like, female fan servicey shows. Like, I've rewatched Free like 4 times.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a fan service for women, 100%. I think the dudes in that show are shirtless 50% of the time.
And it's hot as fuck. I ain't gonna knock it. I'm straight. Well, I say.
Yeah. Like they're jacked. They're all really hot.
I mean, I'm down to clown. I'm down to clown. I don't know what they call it. Where, like, I don't know. It's a specific term where it's like, you know, I used to be like uncomfortable in the masculinity, like every dude in their, like, teenage and early 20s is, like, because society makes them that way. But I've more than like made up the fact that if we're if we're talking femboys, you know, maybe, I don't know, questioning my loyalty to Rome, as the meme goes, right? So it's like, I'm comfortable in it, but even I looked at Free and I was like, look, I know this fan service isn't meant for me, but it's a sports anime, so this shit's hype.
It was so hype. It was so good.
And that's the thing, right? Food Wars is the same, and I know some people get turned off by the excessive like fan service, and I get it, right? But yeah, I'm not gay, but yeah, exactly, right? It's as I said, I classify myself as 56% straight. Well, I like feminine. I like the feminine. The feminine. I like the feminine. However,
Ooh.
the restrictions on what qualifies as feminine has been blurred by society and time somewhat. And you know what? I'm okay with that. The
Happy
on
Pride
topic-
Month, y'all.
Happy Pride Month, y'all.
Happy Pride Month, y'all.
But the thing with Food Wars, right, is I get where you're coming from. But you start off and it's like with a 30% margin. Yeah, you start off and you think, oh yeah, you get through it and it's just, oh, this is just going to be fan service with cooking as a mechanism to get it across, right? And it starts that way, sure. It's just your cheesy shonen. But like with a lot of shonens, you get to season 2 and you have a tournament arc. And then it turns into a sports anime. Yeah, there's fan service in it but the fan service is used to get across how delicious the food is and to give people the fan service for the show, right? The rest of the time, it's like a sports anime. They're hyping it up. It's a sports anime. Like Free is, right? And then you get to season 3. And season 3, it's just peak.
Was
It's
season
just peak.
3 the beach arc?
No.
What was that?
The beach arc was the last season. Started the
Oh,
last
okay,
season.
so I got to the last season before I dropped it.
Wow. Okay, there you go.
There you go.
don't because you see season 3 when Erina's evil dad comes back, right? And that whole thing goes down. I'm sorry. It's just peak as hell.
It was okay. I think I just got tired of the trope, essentially. Like, I was watching it for something to watch, and I think by the time I got to that point, there was, like, some new anime coming out. Like, I probably was watching it a little bit late. And so I transitioned to watching something else. I'm trying to think, what other shows was I watching around that time? I think... I went through a period where I was binging a lot of shows.
Yeah,
like a lot of
we all go
anime.
there.
I feel like I go through periods where like I will sit down and I will watch a ridiculous amount of anime. And then I'll just kind of wait until like good things come back around again.
Yeah.
You know? Because it feels like, I feel like every season of anime that comes out, there's maybe like 2 or 3 good shows if we're lucky, and then the rest of it is all just kind of like filler, you know? All the other animes are just filler.
You see, normally I would agree with that, but I think the problem is, it was like that, right? Back in the day. It was 2 or 3 are good per season, and then the rest are garbage. Or, like, just mid, right? But
Yeah.
But anime has gotten so big now, it's gotten to the point where the ratio of 2 to 3 anime per season is still there, right? It's still there, but because there's so many shows being released now, it's been up to, like, 6 or 7 per season are good now because there's just so much anime coming out, right? So there's no way you can keep up with all the good shit.
Yeah, no, it's not possible to keep up with all the anime coming out.
For example,
nowadays.
Call of the Night. Oh my god, I love Call of the Night, and yet I've only watched 2 or 3 episodes because
Yeah,
I'm just
I've
trying
only
to
seen
keep
the
up with
first
everything else.
episode of it, and I meant to go back and watch it, and then I never got
Nazuna
around
is
to it.
Great, right? And again, Insomniacs After School, again, incredible show. I've only watched a couple of episodes, and yet a really trashy but fun isekai will come out, like, which are few and far between. But every now and then there'll be like a really trashy show that's actually fun, kind of like Food Wars actually, and you'll just be like, you'll like, I've got a million better shows. Like, there is a work of art which I need to go watch. But I'll watch 24 episodes of this. This is just fun. Right?
For me,
Like,
my trashy binge show was what fucking show was that called? Arifureta.
yo, same, right? Yes!
I
Yes!
saw the clip where he
Yes!
stuck. Basically, all you need to know about this show is he shoves a rod in a dragon girl's butthole to fight her, and it is a peak anime, is what it is.
So, I'm going to do some shameless self-promo. Even though I'm a history YouTuber full-time, this is what I normally do, I do have a second channel. My second channel is Anime Roulette, which I run with my Scanlater friend. And we have a podcast where we will roll a random anime on a random anime generator, which is why we're called Anime Roulette. And then we'll be forced to watch it. We have to watch it, no matter what it is. And we rolled Arifueto. And we called our episode, our review episode, In Another World with My Minigun. Because it's just so good. It's so good. Like, I need to escape from a volcano surrounded by dragons. Well, thankfully, I have this underwater submarine spaceship I prepared earlier. This is so good. Because why the fuck not? I have a harem of all these different hot women. I can build miniguns and rocket launchers. I drive around in a fucking Humvee, which I magically built for some reason. In a world with no gasoline, but it's okay. It runs on magic.
Thank you so much for the follow, streamer BTW.
The other show that I think has the same energy as this, which I had a lot of fun with, is a really shitty show that came out recently called I Became Overpowered in Another World, so I became overpowered in this world too.
What the fuck is that title?
Basically,
what is that title?
Fat loser nerd finds a portal to an isekai realm that, strangely enough, has RPG mechanics in his granddad's basement.
No, I watched the first episode of that.
And then
I watched the first episode. I didn't get around to watching the rest, but I do remember that show.
It's, as I said, it's very Arifueta-esque, or it's just, this is so dumb, but it's great. You have to, if you're gonna do dumb isekai, you have to have a fun story, and it has to have a fun gimmick. And 99% of shitty isekai like this don't have that.
No. Like, another, well, I guess it's not technically isekai, it's just fantasy. Ishizoku Reviewers.
Okay, based show. Absolutely
so
based show.
Good. If you guys have not seen Ishizoku Reviewers, don't watch it around your family. For starters, make sure your door is locked.
I'm not. I want to preface this. I am not, shall we say, a customer, right? I'm not a customer. However, I am friends with. I was friends with a lot of ladies who work in that industry. One of my friends was a burlesque model, and that has a lot of crossover with that industry. And so I met a lot of it, and I became friends with a lot of the girls. Even met one or two madames, if you know what they are, right? And what I love about interspecies reviewers is the fact that the women in it, even though they're all sexualized to hell because it's about what it's about, right? It's the fact that the ladies, the girls they're sleeping with, yes, they're sex workers, but like,
they come across as real women.
They're real women. They have feelings, thoughts.
They literally come across as real women in the show, which like other animes can't fucking do. Even Gundam, the most recent Gundam movie, couldn't pass the Bechamel test.
Bechdel test. That's
Bechdel,
the one. Bechamel is a buttery
sauce.
cheesy
That's
sauce.
A white sauce. Yeah.
It's a white sauce. Yes.
That's a white sauce.
But yeah, it is. No, but that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying, right? Like when I think about interspecies reviewers, yeah, it's a bunch of guys going around reviewing brothels. This is trashy fancy. Like it's, if you watch the uncensored version, it's a hentai. It is a hentai, right? You watch the.
They have an uncensored version?
Yeah, like there's an uncensored version which you can watch on the hub. You can watch it on the hub, actually.
Oh.
And the thing is, right? Fucking interspecies reviewers, you're right. Like the sex workers are women. It's their job, but they take pride in their work. They love what they do. They have names. They have feelings. They have thoughts on what they do.
They have emotions.
They have emotion. Like, like this anime about reviewing brothels treats women more respectfully than 99% of anime, and all the women in it are except for the maid are sex workers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Wild.
So, fucking, it's just so fucking annoying that interspecies reviewers does better on women's representation in anime than 90% of anime.
It was such a good show too. It was a great show.
It's funny as shit. Like, it's
super funny.
And you want to know what? The reason I think that works is it's in the same vein as Kill la Kill in that regard.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it is. Kill la Kill was an awesome show. I loved
Kill
that
la
show.
Kill gets derided as filthy fan service schlock, right? It is a little bit. It is a little bit. But they use the fan service as a mechanism to make a larger point about body positivity and confidence, and women's rights in certain in a certain way. Like, I feel like Kill la Kill has better female representation in anime than, again, most like isekai and shonen shows.
It does.
And Kill la Kill gets derided as fan service. I'm like, no, like, if you want to know, like, funnily enough, by the same studio, if you want to talk about a show that gets an inordinate amount of praise for its improper depictions of women, ironically made by the same studio, Darling in the Franxx.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Fucking 02. Like, I swear to God.
02. Yeah, no, you're
She's
right.
hot as fuck. She's hot as fuck.
I know a lot of people who call 02 best girl, and I'm like, that's not a woman.
You see, growing up is realizing that, well, it's a bit of a relative term in anime because that usually refers to legal age, but growing up is realizing that the MILFs are usually best girl all along. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Valid.
for real. Like,
valid. Also, hi,
when I
Ryan.
was, like, okay, confession. I am a military history guy, right? but I'm also into anime. What got me into anime? What finally broke the seal for me? Because I was with the rest of the crew where I was like, anime's weird. Even though I was a Kaiju fan when I was young.
What? You were in the anime's weird camp?
Yeah, when I was younger. When I was young, like,
Bro!
when I was like 13, 14.
Bro,
right?
why?
Okay, which is weird because I was a Kaiju fan, right? I was a Kaiju fan, but I wasn't an anime fan because I thought, cartoons a bit. I liked Dragon Ball Z and stuff, but like, yeah, and that's what I'm saying, right? I'm a military history YouTuber, and I was a military history nerd, and what I went to school for was military history, right? And so the thing is, when I was just starting to get into anime, and this was what, like 2007, 2008? So what? So when did that come out? Because I'm pretty sure the anime that got me to check it out, the first anime I ever saw, because finally I started seeing cool shit, right? I started seeing cool shit in the anime world. I watched an AMV for the first time. And it was a song by Voltaire called When You're Evil. And it was a AMV of the original Hellsing.
Oh, original Hellsing slapped.
So I watched the original Hellsing. But I didn't really sort of consider myself an anime fan yet. Then came a day. A bit fast forward a few years. Like, then came a day, like, the next year, I started browsing around, checking shit out. Like, I watched, a bit of stuff here, like, the odd random thing here. And then I discovered Strike Witches.
Strike Witches. I'm trying to remember what that show is. I've heard of it.
Strike
it's not,
Witches
like,
came out
ringing a
in
bell for me.
2000 and Strike Witches came out in 2008.
Okay. Strike Witches. I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Now, picture this. You're a military history nerd wanting to become a fighter pilot originally, but I realized I wasn't gonna get that. So I decided I was going to try and become
Oh,
a military historian. And then I find out that all my heroes, all the greatest fighter pilots in history, have been translated into hot teenage girls, and they fight aliens.
Chat, just for you to see what's happening, what we're talking about, this is Strike Witches.
Now,
Those are fighter pilot heroes?
yep. So they are all they are all fighter pilots from World War II. They are all fighter pilots from World War II who have been in. Except this is an alternate universe, so they are all magical girls with cat ears who ride fighter planes, who ride engines made out of fighter plane parts. So, if you want to know how much of a nerd I am, if you want to know how it works, so I can tell you. Sanya Litvak is the top left girl with the rocket launcher there.
Okay,
She is the only one. She is the only one of the girls in that picture who is based on a woman. Right?
Uh-huh.
She is based on Lydia Litvak, the Soviet fighter ace and first female fighter ace in human history.
Oh, man.
Charlotte Yeager is based on Chuck Yeager. She is currently flying the striker unit she's wearing, the little propeller jetpack thing she's wearing, is based on a P-51 Delta painted up in the paint scheme of Glamorous Glennis, which is the aircraft that Chuck Yeager flew during World War II. Charlotte Yeager is obsessed with achieving top speed, the fastest speed possible, because Chuck Yeager, the man she's based on, was the first man to officially, quotation marks, break the sound barrier. Bottom left on the far left side, wearing a striking unit based on a Focke-Wulf 190 D9, is armed with an MG42 machine gun with snail belt magazines. Is Gertrude Barkhorn, based on Gerhard Barkhorn, 300 kill fighter ace of Jagdgeschwader 52 during the Second World War. Transferred to Jagdverband 44 and flew Me-262s, which is why she converts to a 262 in Season 2. Temporarily.
Shit. Oh, shit.
You see what I mean? And then you go on the bottom right, for example, say armed with wearing a striker unit based on a Messerschmitt 109 G14 with the black tulip paint scheme is Erika Hartmann, based on the most successful fighter pilot in human history, Erich Hartmann, with 352 confirmed air-to-air victories. Same squadron as Barkhorn, Jagdgeschwader 52. She has a twin sister, Ursula, and her twin sister is actually based on Erich Hartmann's wife in real life. And the reason why she's included is because Ursula they were high school sweethearts, and he made it through 10 years in a Soviet gulag, and she waited for him the entire time until he was released. And so they got married. And of course, you have Lynette Bishop, who's based on a couple of different British pilots. You have Sato, who Miyafuji Yoshika is based on. Miyafuji is armed, equipped with an A6M2 N20 Zero Sen, made by Mitsubishi, and a Type, I can't remember the Type 38, is it? 20mm cannon from a Zero. And to her top right, equipped with the same equipment and a sword, is Sakamoto, Major Mio Sakamoto, who is based on Japanese fighter ace Saburo Sakai. The reason why she has an eye patch and a magic eye in canon and wields a samurai sword is because Saburo Sakai's nickname was the Sky Samurai, which is taken from his autobiography after the Second World War. And during a air battle over the Battle of Guadalcanal, he lost his right eye, which is why she has a magic eye and wears an eye patch. And so you can see young, man that I am, obsessed with World War II military history, the ability that I'm able to identify all of that off the top of my head, means that when I discovered this show, I was like, okay, maybe anime is cool. Maybe this is
We
great.
figured out what breed of autism Animarchyyt has.
Don't judge me, chat.
Essentially. Hey man, we've all got a touch of it, and some of us more than others, but that's okay. It's what makes the world go round.
Okay, so you see Raisin. So you see... Oh my god, we've got
what?
another raid!
Hi, Chachi! Hello, how's it going? Welcome in, Raiders! My name is Maki, also known as Kaiju Kanajo. We've got Animarchyyt here. We were just talking about Airplane Musume.
Okay.
The gacha game for fighter jet girls.
Okay. No, so they do have a gacha game. It's Strike Witches Take Off, I believe. I haven't actually played it. World Witches Take Off, I believe, is the gacha game they run with these days. But yeah, so Raisin, it's funny you should mention that because that's how my YouTube career started. I started doing the real history of Strike Witches, but Katakawa nuked the video.
No!
Katakawa hunted me down and nuked my first video. So I figured that I wasn't allowed to do Strike Witches content.
Oh,
right?
That's a fat rip.
So I decided to pivot to Azure Lane, and that launched my YouTube career. Because I did the real history of the boats from Azure Lane.
Yeah,
which is how I became a history YouTuber.
Thank you.
I started with Prince Eugen, and that video was awful. So I followed it up, did more research, did more due diligence, came back and made an 1.5-hour documentary about the battleship Bismarck, and that took off. Strider, if you want to watch my Azure Lane content, it's on my channel. You can find it. Which you can find me at Animarchyyt History.
Animarchyyt is tagged in the title of the stream. So if you hit his name, it'll take you to his Twitch channel so that you can go watch the Azure Lane videos that he's made on YouTube.
It's funny, actually. If you Google Animarchyyt, my name, I'm the top result.
Oh, hell yeah, dog. Hell yeah.
And it's gotten to the point where if you Google, like, certain historical topics, like...
You're like a top result, too?
I'm a top result in the video search,
I want
yeah.
that prime hand holding now, Mackie.
Oh, thank you. Here, we'll hold hands, just like that. Chachi, how was your stream, my love? Everybody, please, go follow Chachi. Chachi is beautiful and amazing and oh so sexy, and we love Chachi here. Love, 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 love Chachi. Please go give Chachi a follow. I'll hold hands with Chachi any day.
Yeah.
I'll hold toes with Chachi.
All right. So, however, I stopped doing Strike Witches content. However, I do make Strike Witches references every chance I get for obvious reasons.
Valid.
And
I just recently broke into the YouTube game myself. I'm still figuring out exactly what I'm doing with it and trying to make some progress with it, but it's been enjoyable so far.
Ha! If you Google Hans Joachim Marseille, my video is the #1 revolt. That's fucking great.
That is really funny.
Okay, so let's see if I can get the thumbnail. Can I get the thumbnail? Yes, I can. All right, I'm going to send this thumbnail over to you. Put it up on stream.
Absolutely.
This is my favorite thumbnail I have ever made.
Let me see.
It's not a very big thumbnail.
That is the tiniest fucking thumbnail I've ever seen in my life.
Hold on. Let's see
what?
If I can get,
look at that.
Let's see if I can get a...
You're chillaxing doing alchemy? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, girl.
Okay, there we go.
Give me a bigger thumbnail.
There you go. There's a bigger version of it. That should be a bigger version. There you go.
That is a much bigger version. Thank you. Thank you. There we go.
There we go.
Damn. Damn.
There we go.
Damn.
There
I'm not usually one to call out anime physics, but can I just say, I don't think those panties would hold up her magazine.
Nope. But
Can I just say that? That's not how panties work.
so Hans Joachim Marseille is the coolest man who's ever existed, and the only reason he gets a point against him is because, as you can tell by his uniform, he fought on the wrong team. Right? In every other circumstance, that man is absolute Giga Chad. And he is a Giga Chad even though he fought on the wrong team, because he literally told the leader of that team, Mr. Mustache Man himself, to go fuck himself on more than one occasion. Which is really, really funny. It's a whole story that it's very famous. But what I really love about that thumbnail, my favorite part about it, is that's his Strike Witch's equivalent. That's that's Hannah Justina Marseille. And I put her there because I knew it would grab clicks, and it did. But the other part is very straightforward. That is a German plane from World War II in a dogfight on the thumbnail, right?
Yeah.
Which means on the tail it would have the spicy pinwheel logo.
Oh, you're right.
And I have used her left butt cheek
to hide the spicy pinwheel because it's not allowed on YouTube.
Yeah.
Why am I not watching this anime? No shit, dude.
Okay. Now, the reason why I brought Strike Witches up and why it's a bit is because when I was that's raining hard. Holy shit. But when I was a teenager, when I was like 15, 16, Strike Witches was amazing. Look at all these hot women, quotation marks, off fighting aliens.
Look at these hot airplanes, warships.
And in canon, because they have to be ready to jump in their plane legs at any time, they don't wear pants. Because pants are redundant, right? You don't need pants. You got to be ready to fight at any time. So who wears pants? Right.
Nobody.
This is great when you're a 16-year-old horny teenage boy. This is fantastic. When you come back to rewatch it at age 28, and then you realize all the girls are like 14, it's like, maybe. Just a
questionable. Suddenly very fucking questionable. I think that's a big issue with going back and rewatching anime or watching anime regularly as an adult. I feel like I can't watch anime that has high schoolers in it anymore. Like, I tend to just avoid it. I'll avoid it as much as I can. Which I think probably has a big to do with why I don't watch too much anime nowadays. Just because, obviously, it's anime. It's coded for high schoolers, Like, that's what it's primarily aimed at. And so, like, sure, you get a handful of, like, adult-oriented shows and anime every once in a while, but, like, a lot of it is primarily aimed for, like, high school, early college, those sort of things. You know what else is an issue? Stop making me lick Carl Weezer, Grandma! Stop. Well, and then you also run into the issue with anime where you get things that are made for adults. It's like adult central, and then the adults in the show wind up fucking kids anyway. Like, it happens in anime, and it's like the worst trope of anime.
Hey, chat, say hello to Dad, by the way.
Who's that? Hello.
I'm on
Dad.
this lovely lady's stream. Lovely lady's stream here. And she is currently presenting to 73 people. So say hello to 73 people, Dad.
All right.
You need to speak a bit louder than that.
Well, I'm not going to.
I'm not going to. Hi, Dad.
That's it, I'm going.
You're
Hello,
going now.
Dad.
Goodbye. Animarchyyt is departing. He's tripping.
Fuck it.
That's a phone. That's a phone cable, Dad. Don't trip over that. But yes,
Everybody say hi to Dad.
Animarchyyt's dad is like a meme on like all the streams we've done, for the NAFO group, which is you You might recognize YouTube creator extraordinaire Laserpig. We stream with him occasionally, and every time I've been on a stream with him, or we've been on one of our big group streams reacting to something stupid, such as Tucker Carlson's interview with Vladimir Putin, for example, there's one. There is always a segment in one of those long streams where Animarchyyt makes his appearance.
Oh, that's
and
cute.
It's just become a meme. So much so that for one of the artworks for one of our streams, it has a rendition of my dad poking his head through the door.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, my dad is also a meme in my stream, but not for the same wholesome reasons that yours is.
Is your dad does your chat think your dad is a bit of a man's man, or is it?
Well, we found out recently. I've talked about my dad quite a bit on stream. I live by myself, so my dad explains the majority of my existence. It does. I found out recently, not from my father, but from Twitter, that my dad has a tramp stamp of his dead late girlfriend's name.
Oh no.
But it's okay because his new girlfriend has the same name. I also found out, thanks to Twitter, again, not from my dad himself, but from a combination of Twitter and Reddit, that my dad, in fact, has a foot fetish, which brought to light new meaning of the fact that since I've become an adult, the only Christmas present he's ever gotten me are shoes.
Oh no.
So.
Oh no.
If that. And I mean, like, they're nice shoes. But, like, I now return all of the shoes that he buys me for a gift card from the store he bought them from.
No.
And I don't think that's invalid. I think that's valid.
Oh no.
I guess on the flip side, he buys everybody shoes. But yeah. If you're looking to trade dads.
No, I'm pretty good. I think
I'm available for adoption, maybe.
Yeah, you know what? Fair. You know what? That's absolutely 100%. That is 100% fair. Exactly.
You can tell Animarchyyt if he wants a Canadian daughter, I'm available. You can just
fuck.
Pick me up. I'll move. It's fine.
Do we really want to bring the concept of a stepsister into a stream, which we started by talking about hentai? Do we really want to cross that bridge when we get? Do we really want to do that? Do we really want to do that?
Yes.
Like,
Stepbro, please. Please, Stepbro.
Stepbro, what are you doing? It's like, dude, this
is my stepsister. You wouldn't know her. She goes to school in Canada.
I'm gonna go help my stepsister do a stream. What is she doing? Oh my god, you devil. No, I'm just helping her build a Gundam. What do you want, bro? Like, fuck, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Want to treat dads? I'm an orphan? God, you know what? Like, it can't be worse, probably.
Could be an iron-blooded orphan.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. Title drop.
Oh, shit.
Although, like, I don't know. The thing that you want to know that really gets me, chat, what makes me feel betrayed inside, is the fact that this lovely lady here is called Kaiju, kind of joke, and is a Kaiju.
I am a Kaiju.
But you aren't a Kaiju fan.
I am a Kaiju fan.
You say that.
Where did you get that from?
Like, You told me you hadn't seen many kaiju movies, and I was like, really? Really?
No, I've seen a good amount of kaiju movies. There's just like there is an era of kaiju movies that I'm still working that I'm still working through.
Okay.
But I have watched a lot of kaiju film. I
Okay,
would say
good.
like more. Okay, so I've watched more than the average person of kaiju films. Have I watched as many kaiju films as a dude with kaiju autism? No, I haven't. But to be valid to myself, you know, like that's a hard bucket to swallow.
Okay, so I know when we first talked that you are also a fan of SSS Gridman.
I am a
Is
fan
that-
of SSS Gridman. Yeah.
That is peak. Okay,
Cat Meow,
so
thank you for the follow.
I want to know what your favorite kaiju movie is.
Godzilla versus Ebirah.
Ooh, giant lobster.
Ebirah is like my favorite kaiju. Can I just say that?
Okay. Godzilla -1 is peak. But
Godzilla
minus
minus
one
one is phenomenal. The only if we're talking about so there's two completely separate. I'll even split it into three. There are three completely separate genres of kaiju film. Okay, we have serious kaiju film, where these aren't necessarily like beat 'em up monster movies. They're emotional looks into Japanese history using kaiju as a depictor, as an what's the word I'm looking for?
Analogy.
Thank you. An analogy for a major event in Japanese history, such as nuclear bombs dropping, natural disasters, etc., etc. A metaphor. Thank you. A metaphor. We have that. So that's one box. That is a separate genre of kaiju film. We have another genre of kaiju film, which is in reality, these films are purely for comedic purposes. They're all fun, no thoughts, a head empty, giant monsters beating the shit out of each other. Either CGI giant monsters or people in suits beating the hell out of each other.
Yep.
And then we have a third subgenre of kaiju film, which is, I would call like anime kaiju.
Yeah, kind
movies,
of.
because it doesn't. I feel like a kaiju TV show that's an anime doesn't really. You can't really put it in the same two-segmented box that
No.
the serious kaiju films or the funny beat 'em up kaiju films are. So I feel like TV shows kind of fall into their own separate sector. So I have favorites in all three. For funny haha beat 'em up kaiju, it's Godzilla versus Ebirah. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's silly. I would say all of the Hollywood Godzilla films fall into that category. All of the MonsterVerse films. None of them are serious. None of them take themselves seriously. They're
Okay, I would say that Godzilla, the first of the MonsterVerse, kind of tried to.
yeah,
But it didn't. Because
it didn't
they
come
cut-
across. And I think the other thing that they ran into an issue was with I don't know if it was so much the actors that they casted or the writing, but a lot of the delivery was very flat and very unemotional for scenes that
okay.
were supposed to be emotional.
There are two things you need to do to fix Godzilla 2014. I think it's 2014.
Yeah, I think it's 2014.
There are two things you do to fix Godzilla 2014. First, keep Bryan Cranston alive. Don't kill him.
Yeah,
Because he's a much more interesting character.
he was.
Have him survive and have his plot, have the son be there for the action scenes and for the nuke scene. Have the son be off doing the action scenes. And then replace all his talking scenes, because they're shit, with Bryan Cranston talking to Ken Watanabe's character to try and work out what's going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Bryan Cranston, because he worked it all out himself, gets brought onto the project by Ken Watanabe. They work together while Sun joins the SEALs or Marines. He's a Marine in the movie and goes off. That's how I would fix it. And then do the same plot. Same plot's
Right.
fine. but work Bryan Cranston in so you cut out a lot of the talking scenes with Homeboy and instead replace it with Ken Watanabe and Bryan Cranston acting the fuck out of the scene, because Ken Watanabe and Bryan Cranston can act the fuck out of a scene. Okay?
Right.
Step one. And then the other thing you do is actually go through with the airport fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. That's a good point.
Don't cut away to like a TV report on the news later and just be like, yeah, this is what's happened. Just to cock tease the audience. No. Kaiju films have a formula. You have a round one where the hero monster loses.
You need big kaiju fights. As many of them as possible.
and then you can get that dude, that boring Marine Corps dude who's trying to survive on the train during the kaiju fight. You can have him trying to survive the kaiju fight while showing the kaiju fight.
Yeah, exactly.
If you do those two things, keep Team Bryan Cranston up with Ken Watanabe, and then put that fight back in, Godzilla 2014 turns into a 9 out of 10. Because 10 out of 10 is reserved for Godzilla -1.
Yeah.
TBH.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm being jealous there. I'm being a bit biased there. Okay, you know what? I know it might be a bit controversial giving it a 10 out of 10, because some people might be a bit iffy on it because it can get a bit procedural. But if you understand the point of the film and the critique it's making, and if you get where it's coming from and what the film is trying to do, I would also give a 10 out of 10 to Shin Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla is a 10 out of 10. Absolutely.
Yeah, because
for me, if I'm okay, so maybe I'm like old school, but personally for me, as far as when we look at the serious kaiju films, the order of peak for me, which they are all phenomenal, none of them are bad. But for me, the serious kaiju flicks, it goes Gojira, number 1. The original. Then -1, and then Shin Godzilla. And I don't think that's a hot take, to be honest. I understand that the original Gojira might be a little bit dated for other people to watch.
In terms of serious kaiju films, I would say, honestly, I would swap Gojira with Shin Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because I feel like Shin Godzilla nailed the raw, there's no other term for it, the raw pants-shitting terror
True.
of what a kaiju would actually be. Because
True.
there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief, and it's a problem of its when it was made. You're right. If you made the original Godzilla film today, it would probably work better.
I mean, it would be more or less like on par with -1, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. And -1, I think, was an attempt. What they were trying to do is a reboot. But -1 is just of the three, -1 is the best movie of all three.
It's the best movie, for sure. And I to be honest with you, I really love the way that they made Godzilla's atomic breath feel like an A-bomb. Like, it didn't feel like a laser beam of fire. It didn't feel like a giant breath weapon from a dragon. It felt like an A-bomb. Just from the sound mixing, the impact, the sheer devastation of it, and like the wide-scale devastation that it caused.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Like, it was just that first shot of his atomic breath nuking the Diet Building. Just, oh my god. Oh,
wild.
Dude.
Wild.
Dude. Godzilla -1 is, honestly, I was gripped. And I really want to make a video on my own channel about the historical content in -1 because there's a ton of little details you can tell that the team who made it paid very close attention to the historical details of the film they were in. Like,
No,
the thing
absolutely.
the thing I love
they
about
did.
Japanese media, right, is that I've noticed this a lot. Japanese film, like, not always, but have you guys noticed that Japanese films, when they do period stuff, they are absolutely autistic, quite literally, with historical accuracy in what they're doing? Have you noticed that, Chat?
I have noticed that. I have.
Because I was looking through -1 to find shit, right? And like in an American movie, they'll CGI something. Like hell, you look at the latest Call of Duty that's coming out, the Gulf War one, right? And you look at like, and even though it's not, I hate the fact that something that took place in 1991 is considered a historical artifact. Even though I wouldn't be born for another 3 years.
Right.
But, you know.
Right.
But
oh, man.
The fact that I'm referring to a Gulf War as historical accuracy.
Well, hey man, nowadays the Twin Towers is also historical too.
Yeah, that
was 2001.
Yeah, like looking at this is the thing. Okay, side tangent. I won't take up too long. I'll go back to my original point. But side tangent.
Yep.
I made a review of Akiba Maid War, the anime.
Oh fuck
which is
yeah,
an
dude! I
absolute
love that show.
masterpiece.
Yeah, it was a masterpiece show.
And the fact is, it was set in 1999, and I talk about, Akihabara's history, and I talk about all of it, and I talk about, Yakuza and how they play in Japanese society and all that while reviewing this. And I talk about the historical accuracy of it, and then I had to pause and think about it. Why am I talking about the historical accuracy of something in 1999? I had my first day of school in 1999. Fucking no.
Oh, no.
For someone who comments on historical accuracy for stuff that happened like 80 years ago, right? To suddenly be doing the same thing to something I was fucking alive for, I just had an existential crisis. I was just like, fuck.
Oh,
But anyway,
dude.
But anyway, going back to -1, I was looking at it. I swear, the Japanese, when they do like period pieces, are way more focused on getting historical details right than Western.
They are. They are.
Because I was trying to find mistakes, and I was looking at the destroyers they were using, the ships they were using, the aircraft they were using, and I was like, they're using Takao. They're using the heavy cruiser Takao to fight Godzilla. Why would they be using it? Of course, because she was disabled by a limpet mine in Singapore, and she was going to be scuttled. Wait a minute, she's one of the few heavy warships that would still be intact at the time. Then go scroll up, and they mention it. Yeah, she's in Singapore, and I'm like, oh shit. And then they looked at the ships they had.
It's literally too accurate. It's super. Holy shit! I didn't know that. That's wild.
Then I looked at the ships taking on Godzilla at the end, and I saw Yukikaze, who was famous for surviving basically everything in a Yukikaze on the side. I'm like, oh my god, the destroyers. And I looked them up, I checked. The destroyers that they were using at the end of the film were all the destroyers that historically accurately survived World War II and were being demilitarized at the time. The tanks they were using to fire at Godzilla were reserved for the home island's defense against the Americans when they were invaded. It's the Chi-Ha?
That's wild.
The long-barreled shit. And so, yes, the Japanese army would have them on standby in the home islands to fight Godzilla. And I was like, what did they find? I was like, we found this old prototype, and I'm like, you haven't got a Shinden, have you? Oh, you do have a Shinden. Oh my god. Oh my. And that's what I'm saying. And then the coolest detail, even though I don't think it's historically accurate, but it's a really cool detail. The Shinden has an ejector seat in it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But Japan didn't develop the ejector seats, so when you look at it, it's an ejector seat with German instructions on it.
I did notice that it had German instructions on it. I did notice that. Yeah,
that's the proto. And yes, it is a prototype ejection seat from the later models of the ME-262. And I was like, oh my god! Whoever the historical advisors on that film were fucking incredible. They were incredible. I was just giggling. Their uniforms, the equipment, the ships, the buildings, the vehicles, the cars, like everything. I'm looking around. I'm trying to find errors, and I can't find them. So when I get to see Asian films that make period pieces, I am so happy. Like Chinese movies do the same thing, and they're great for it. Whereas in Western media, you'll be like in the middle of a movie, and there'll be something that like doesn't exist for 20 years yet, and you'll be like,
yeah. What I feel like Hollywood Western film just they're much more lax about it, thinking that it doesn't matter. People aren't going to pick up on it, you know. When they do, like people pay attention. Japanese people, however, won't let that fly. We know that. We're aware of that.
Yeah, that's right.
They would be called out so hard on Japanese social media.
Yeah, because like Hideaki Anno directed Shin Godzilla, and Shin Godzilla, damn. Like,
meanwhile, a beer commercial has more accurate and highly made production value for armor instead of a high budget Hollywood film.
Yep.
I think it also might play into a part of there are a lot of laws in Japan for needing to represent things accurately with like consumer goods. So I feel like following along that line, there's probably better consulting firms to make sure that things are represented accurately in film as well. Or it could also fall into a part where the Japanese economy is frankly easier to live in than Western economies right now, as far as like lower income earners too. As lower income earners, cost of university and attending university for degrees for studies that aren't necessarily job training programs, which allows more people to study more niche sects of history.
Yeah. And I would actually agree with Raisin here. It's also just pride in the work. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's also a fair point.
I'm gonna put a channel on blast. I'm gonna air out some dirty laundry here. I'm gonna stand up and
no. Who are we calling out?
There is a corporation on YouTube. They're a big company called Dark Docs.
Mm-hmm.
They make Dark Skies, Dark Seas, whatever, right? And they do short 20-minute documentaries on popular events throughout history in, like, World War II, World War I, all that. Optimized for meme distribution and sharing, right? Optimized for internet consumption.
Right. Yeah.
And they'll be talking about, like, a battleship or like an air battle or like a cool event in history, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll watch it, and the stock footage they use is completely wrong.
Oh no.
Completely wrong.
Oh,
and you can tell it's not the writer or an actual expert who's doing the editing. It's not. It's not someone who's doing it. It's some editor who's been hired to, this is about a battleship, so edit together stuff about a battleship. And I've caught Fat Electrician's editor a few times too. And I'm pretty sure that Fat Electrician has called them out on it a couple times because their editors have gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll have like, oh yeah, we're talking about a battleship, so they put footage of a battleship on screen, right?
Yeah.
It's the wrong battleship from the wrong country at the wrong time, whatever, but it's footage of a battleship, so they put the battleship there.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? And then you have people like me who puts in a little disclaimer on the bottom of their video in the comment section, apologizing about reusing footage because accurate footage of the particular thing that I'm representing does not exist in a large quantity. Like,
yeah.
I own, or at least, well, I say own, I have on my expanded hard drive on my old PC. I haven't got it on my new PC because I changed to my new PC. On my old hard drive, which I'll need to recover, I have every single piece that I know of surviving footage of the Imperial Japanese Navy.
Oh, holy
I have
shit,
every
dude.
piece of footage.
How big of a hard drive do you have?
It's not that big because the Japanese Navy's film unit with Kido Butai, the group that fought at Midway, still had their film stores on board when they lost the battle. So a lot of the footage of Kido Butai sunk to the bottom of the Pacific Ocean.
Oh.
But of surviving footage of the Japanese Navy during World War II, I'm pretty sure I have 99% of it.
Damn,
And
dude.
I pulled it from everywhere. NHK archives, everything. And I needed it all to make my documentary series on the US aircraft carrier, the USS Enterprise, CV6. Right? And this is what I'm saying. I had to reuse a bunch of footage while making that documentary series. And I basically explained there was footage that some people had never even seen before. Right? That I went digging around. And the reason is quite simple. I refuse, for a matter of historical accuracy, I'm willing to bend the rules a bit. A little bit. Alright? If they're the same class of ship, and it's footage of Admiral Hipper or footage of Prince Eugen, and I'm trying to represent Blucher, I'll use footage of Prince Eugen. Right? Because they're the same class of ship, and I can kind of get away with it. Right?
Right.
And I'm bending the rules, because there's no footage that survives of this particular ship, so I'll use a footage of the same
Right.
class
You have
of ship.
you have to sometimes bend rules like that where you have to, but
Right. But, like, I spent 12 hours going through combat newsreel archives, trying to find footage from, like, trying to chart footage from the Battle of Leyte Gulf. Right? And then you'll look at something like Dark Skies or make a documentary on it, and it will have footage from, like, fucking, like, Guadalcanal, like, 2 years before it or something, right? And in there. Or the worst one, the thing that really fucking shits me off, is when you have early war events, like early World War II events, being discussed, and them using footage from, like, 1944, 45.
oh no.
It really irritates me. It irritates me because you'll be, like, talking about the British fighting in the Battle of Britain, right? And, like, fighting the German Air Force. And then you'll have footage of American planes, right? And I'm like, they're not in the war yet.
Oh man.
And these documentaries just mass produce this shit. And they get away with it. I'm like, where is your art? Where is your artistry? Where is the craftsmanship? What have you done to make this?
The love for a modicum of effort, even some love for what you're doing. Jeez, yeah, I got it. Integrity. Yeah, integrity is a good word for it. Also, thank you so much, Tatones, for the follow. Hi, Holojills. Hi. No, I think that's valid, and I think it's just, it's a common problem with YouTube in general. I feel like a lot of these media companies that it's harder for small creators to make money off of YouTube nowadays.
Yeah.
And so a lot of YouTube is just these massive conglomerates that happen to be producing things for YouTube. And so they kind of churn and burn through, like, the lowest, cheapest possible medium that they can, reusing the same formulas over and over again, and not necessarily caring what sort of B-roll they're choosing to represent the videos that they're talking about.
This is why I'm excited to get back to editing my video on Roman Republican history, because I have a segment just after the ad integration where I'm just like, yeah, guys, funnily enough, there's not a lot of cinematic film footage of ancient Rome. So like the visuals on this video are going to be a bit less impressive than my other content. So it's better to treat this one as an audio book.
You know what you need? You know what you need? Do you have a dog?
No, sadly.
Okay, I was gonna say you need to find someone with a dog. And do you remember those movies that they used to show in school when we were kids, where it was like historical information via Wishbone the dog, where they dressed up like a dog in Roman clothing and like sent the dog back to Rome, and it was a Wishbone the dog telling the story. Have you ever heard of it? Did they have that in Australia?
No, I don't. They didn't have stuff like that in Australia. We were taught how drugs were bad by a giant giraffe. We weren't told history by a dog.
We were told history by a dog. Here, let me find some great. Here you go. For those of you guys who haven't seen Wishbone the dog before, this is the high quality content that we would receive in movie form.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
They would go all out getting costumes for this
All right.
dog to tell historical stories as retold by a dog.
Okay. You know what? There's only one thing. From America that did make its way over here to a lesser extent in some of our classrooms.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a call and response here. I'm going to do a call and response here, and I'm going to summon all of the Americans in chat. When you hear me say this, chat, I want you to respond in the time-honored response. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Are we ready, chat?
I'm ready.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill.
Come on, chat. Come on. There we go. There we go.
Bill.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill. Yeah, we go.
Dave,
There
thank
we
you so much for the follow.
We had Bill Nye the Science Guy and Mythbusters in science class, and yeah, bangers.
I loved Mythbusters. Mythbusters is a great show.
Mythbusters was peak 2000s television.
It was.
And like, I tell you what, like, celebrity deaths don't hit me, but like, generally speaking, I'm like, wow, okay, well, that's a bit sad, but you know, it was their time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
There've only been 2 celebrity deaths that really fucking killed me. Grant Imahara from Mythbusters and Akira Toriyama, the author of Dragon Ball.
Yeah, those are hard ones.
Yeah.
Who remembers the Magic School Bus?
I remember Magic School Bus as well.
Keyblade, a
Magic
normal
School
field
Bus.
trip
Miss
with the
Frizzle
frizz?
could get it. Why was she so hot, though? Why did she have such a dump truck?
Oh, man.
Robin Williams was another big deal.
Yeah, but that one, oh god, Records of Ragnarok. Oh no. No.
Oh no. Oh no.
Not Records of Ragnarok. Oh god.
Oh,
how can an anime that is just one giant tournament arc be boring? Yes, Miss Frizzle was yoked.
Yeah, Miss Frizzle was way yoked.
Yeah, Miss Frizzle
For
bench.
absolutely no reason whatsoever. Cartoons aimed at children during the late
God.
80s and early 90s had women who were just absurdly hot.
God,
It's still the same today. I mean, like, it's always the moms. The moms from Incredibles. Huh.
Okay, look.
Why?
Look. Missing Pixar moms? Yeah, Pixar moms.
Pixar
fucking
moms.
Get it, bro.
Yep.
MILF Central. God. We've all seen the 3D MVs of Pixar moms. We've all seen them.
We have.
We all know how they get down.
Yep. Pixar moms are in a whole nother level. Mom from Dexter's Lab? Yep.
I'm trying.
Okay, now I'm curious. Chat, because everyone has one. Who was your awakening character?
I'm trying to think of mine, actually.
Anybody who says Nala gets a ban. Everybody's thinking, I know who mine was.
Like fictional character or actress or...
It doesn't matter, man. Kim Possible? Kim Possible's a bass dancer.
I think my awakening, like when I really think about it, who did I like?
Those goth girls from Scooby-Doo? Shigo? The mom from Danny Phantom? Yeah. Miss Bellum
I'm gonna be
from
honest.
Powerpuff Girls?
I'm gonna be honest, chat. I'm gonna be. This is so cringe.
What is it?
My awakening moment
Can we agree that Demona from Gargoyles caused an awakening?
was in 2002. I know it was in 2002 because that was when the movie came out. That would have made me 8 years old, I think. Like the first time, the first time, like, you know, you're starting to get into the 11s and 12s. You're starting to get up there, and you start looking at girls in a way, and you're like, she's really pretty, and I really want to like her, but I don't know why. That's that first moment.
Yeah.
It would be Natalie Portman in Attack of the Clones.
Oh my god.
My awakening was my awakening was Padme Amidala. Padme Amidala was a moment. I 100% get why Anakin was willing to go the way for the Smash. Like genocide for the Smash. You know what, Anakin? I get you, bro. I get you.
You know what's fair? It's fair.
It's fair. That's fair.
It's a valid answer.
If you're talking about my awakening as to when I realized my type, it's Rachel Weisz in The Mummy.
Oh, that's a good film. This is peak film.
The girl, when she gets drunk and she says, "I am a librarian," and passes out, I'm like, yep.
That's my type.
This is my type. This is my type.
Mine's
my
a little
type
unfortunate, unfortunately. I'm embarrassed by mine, frankly. And I'm embarrassed that it's also my type, still. It hurts. Kira Yamato from Gundam Seed.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Thank you so much for the check-ins, you guys. Don't. Anyone who's into Gundam in chat will know it's so cringe. Which one's Kira Yamato? Kira Yamato is the one who cries a lot.
Oh, you like soft boys. Oh.
It was the first sex scene that I had seen on TV before, and like it was, brown-haired, emo. I like sad boys. I like boys who have crippling depression.
I'm in with a chance, lads.
If they don't struggle to take a shower, I don't want them.
Looks like I'm in, boys. Let's go. What are you doing, stepsis? Okay.
She likes them busted. I do like them busted.
Yo, like, I'm in with a chance, fellas. Crippling depression, we got that on lock. No. Oh god. Okay. Like you like the soft boys. You like this. You like the soft boys. I get it. That's cartoons conditioned me to like the redhead mum. Yo, same bro. Like redhead milfs. Yeah, I'm with
Redhead
you.
moms. Okay, so on the flip side, the other sexual awakening character, I kept getting this character in like a full page advertisements. This is gonna be a bit of a throwback. Can I get some ones in chat if you guys are familiar with an anime called Witchblade? Anybody? Anybody remember Witchblade? If we're talking
looking at the
red-headed MILFs, that's not the image I want to show. This woman right here would get full-page advertisements in magazines, like anime magazines that I would buy back when there were anime magazines.
This is the moment you realized you batted for both teams, huh?
Yep. I was sitting down. I remember when this happened. I was sitting in middle school. I think it was like a Game Informer magazine that had a full page ad for the DVD of Witchblade. And I was sitting down and I was reading Game Informer and I saw this ad and I was like, that was the moment where I was like, yep.
Fun fact,
Yep.
the anime Witchblade is an adaptation of an American comic of the same name, which is directly connected to the character Jackie Estacado
Yep.
from The Darkness.
Okay.
Oh,
I can see it. I
Yeah.
can see it. I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
Also, she's a mother, so she is the redhead MILF. She falls into that trope.
Look, the reason I realized I was down to clown. If you're talking about batting for both teams, I'm not really. As I said, there's a technical term for it where it's like, I class myself as straight because I'm attracted to to the feminine, but I have came to the realization that as long as it's in the feminine bracket, it doesn't matter what the equipment.
It's all
is,
good.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my awakening.
It's the VR chat awakening for most people.
And for me, at the time, now, of course, no, because anime characters don't age. Now it wouldn't be kosher, but at the time, Ruka from Steins Gate.
Oh my fucking god! Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Daru's
Absolutely.
most illustrious words, dick or not, I would still hit that. Like,
Yep.
yeah, 100.
Yep.
Yeah. Ruka, oh god.
Ryuka's 21. Yeah, it's quite
Adult
when
Ruka
you're-
is.
Yeah. Well, even 21 is questionable nowadays. For me, at least. I wouldn't with a 21-year-old, personally.
No, not
That's too
anymore.
young. Yeah, that's too young.
My answer is the same as like any guy's is, which is like, at a club if shit happens, maybe, but like in a relationship, nah. It's like, it's one of those things, right? Where like, you really, if you're gonna date someone, you really should be similar ages, really, because
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because they don't have the level of
better. Yeah.
they don't have the maturity.
And the
It's
issue
just-
is,
yeah.
like, especially for women, is I feel like the majority of women that I know have all gone through a phase where girls mature faster. That's just a fact. We know that. We know girls mature faster than guys do. But
Yeah.
I do know that all women, and maybe not all, but like a good proportion of women, have definitely made the mistake of dating a much, much older guy, way too young. And like the power imbalance that exists in relationships like that is just not kosher. It's no
Nah,
bueno.
it's no bueno. Like, I mean,
Which I did it myself. I dated a 32-year-old guy when I was 18.
God, wow.
God, yeah.
You see, the thing is, right? The thing is, like, if like I'm getting up to that age now, we both are. So it's like I'm like,
If you think about
Maybe-
dating an 18-year-old at your age, right?
yeah, like this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Would I date like a 24-year-old, 25-year-old, like at age 35? Yeah, I think because she's old enough to be her own person and she's worked herself out and maybe she likes the older, bigger, tougher gentleman like that. Like girls have their types, guys have their types. Like I know guys who, you know, if you gave them an option between 30 good-looking 30-year-old soccer mum and 18-year-old model, they'll choose the soccer mum every time. And I'm right there with them, boys. But at the same time, you know, it's cool. But the idea of dating an 18-year-old, like even as like a 25-year-old, the idea of dating an 18-year-old would be nah. No.
Yeah.
Because like you're not an adult at age 18, despite what the government says. You're not.
No.
And that's just yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
no bueno.
Which you
And
don't
yeah.
think about until you get older, you know? It's a thing. Turning 25 in 30 minutes, and that seems so true. It is. It is true.
Like as a 25-year-old, you are better off dating someone older than you are younger, because 25 is when you're getting about the age where you are the person you're gonna be, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I know this
I
sounds a
don't
bit
think
weird.
I fully felt like an adult until I was about 28, I want to say. I feel like 28 was right around where I started feeling like, oh, I'm an adult now. I do adult things, you know?
This is the thing,
Like, I
right?
think about the long-term consequences of things before I do it. I started listening to talk radio. Like,
Yeah, right. Like this is a thing. I don't think of myself as an adult, because I live at home still. Animarchy law for that is basically mom died when I was 16, and so it's just me and dad, and so it kind of morphed into like a roommate relationship, kind of.
I don't think there's
Right.
anything invalid about living with family.
Yeah, and especially in
especially in this
Australia,
economy and in Australia too. Yeah.
our housing prices are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And being a
Talk
YouTuber means
radio
like,
is podcasts
as
for
a
boomers.
YouTuber, I'm in the point now where living on my own, I would be broke as shit, right?
Right,
Well,
right.
But living with my dad, I actually like I'm comfortable, right?
Right.
I
Like,
could
and for
either-
me, like, I don't live with my family, but I sort of do, in a sense, where I am renting my mom's house from her because she decided that she wanted to live in a van down by the beach.
Fair enough.
So she just up and left. And she was like, do you want to pay my mortgage? And obviously, a mortgage from 15 years ago is cheaper than renting a one-bedroom apartment today. So...
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it is literally more financially viable for me to just bunk with dad at home than to actually, because dad's already paid off the house. So like the only thing we need to worry about is expenses. So I am, unlike, because I haven't gone out and bought a house, I am, unlike a lot of 30-year-olds, debt free, right? I own my
Right.
phone, I own my car, I don't have a mortgage or anything, and I stand to inherit on two fronts actually, because I'm, you know, and I am 100% gonna admit I'm nepo babying it up in terms of inheritance and property, because otherwise, in this economy, like all of us millennials, we're fucked. We're
Yeah, no, we're
actually
fucked.
fucked.
No,
fucked.
we're so fucked. Okay. Here. You want to hear my stupid reason for doing YouTube? You want to
Go
hear my dumb reason for why I started doing YouTube? I want to make YouTube content. Like, in part because I enjoy editing videos and putting things together, and I think it's fun telling stories, but also in part because while I'm living in sort of a lower cost situation, I have no hopes of buying a house in America or in Canada for that matter.
Yeah.
Canada's worse. Canada's worse. I don't have any hope of it. So my plan is, thankfully, the majority of Japan has fiber internet, even to some of the more rural areas. And my 5-year goal is to buy a sub $100,000 house in Japan and grow my YouTube large enough that I can use it to get a visa in Japan and move over there.
Yeah, right. In fact, I could probably do that at the size I'm at right now,
Yeah, you could.
which is weird because I'm at.
Which is why I've started making like a lot
162,000.
of Gundam and Japan travel videos.
A J vlogger.
Yeah,
Life
I know.
as a J vlogger.
I know. Well, I am, for lack of a better term, like, when you think of like a very traditional Japanophile, I'm the picture of it.
I would say like it is a bit. I would say that yeah, it is a bit. There is a distinct difference between a Japanophile and a weeb.
I wouldn't classify myself as a weeb. I like anime. I don't collect anime figures. Like I don't like, I watch a decent amount of anime, but like not to any extent where it would call me a weeb. I don't really go to anime conventions. I like Gundam, but on the same, I like Gundam and I like Kaiju, but on the same level that I like Gundam and Kaiju, I like matcha and kimono and Japanese history, and I have a big hyperfixation on a very specific thing that I would like to do in the future after moving over there every autumn and summer. Like mountain vegetable picking in Japan.
Mountain vegetable picking.
Yeah. I'm very upset. Like, I have an entire thing where I have like done a significant amount of research about what's it called? Yamaasai. Which is specifically just mountain vegetables, and there's like an entire culture around going hiking and finding edible mountain vegetables, which like in the US, people don't have the same level of respect for mountain trails that they do over in Japan. And so like I wouldn't necessarily trust eating anything within eyesight of a hiking trail. You know?
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm deep in that. The weeb versus weeb, yeah, it's a higher level. I do collect Gundam figures.
Yeah, I mean, I have talk about shame. If you want to know what, you know how we were talking about hyperfixations earlier?
Yeah.
I do have a figure collection.
Are
I
they
do.
Azure Lane?
Nope, they are Strike Witches figures.
I was gonna say that was gonna be my second guess.
And you want to know the best part? They are Strike Witches figures, and alongside each Strike Witch is a die-cast model of their historically accurate aircraft parked in front of them.
Oh no! Oh man!
I am that guy. You see, I also have a model of USS Enterprise, not the anime girl, the actual ship. I have a die-cast model of that, and alongside it is a pen, and the housing for that pen is actually made from a sign that was on the door of the gunnery control station aboard the actual ship.
That's actually really
So
cool.
I have a real piece of USS Enterprise CV6 in my living room, and it is mounted on a plaque next to a model of the ship itself.
That's pretty cool.
That is the kind of nerd you're dealing with. And so it's like, I get model collection. As for being a Japanophile, I class myself as one rather than a weeb for the simple reason is I'm also into other aspects of Japanese history and culture than your standard weeb would be.
Mm-hmm.
So, Kaiju fan, yes.
And I'm a big Japanese food fan. I speak Japanese. I'm not fluent, but I speak it well enough. So I do also watch a lot of Japanese cooking YouTube and TikTok.
It's interesting. It's interesting because, like, I look at Japanese history, and while my knowledge is not as good as I'd like to be, because surprisingly enough, you'd actually be amazed. There is not a lot of Japanese history in English. Like,
no, there's not.
There's not.
Yeah.
You've got the big bits like Oda Nobunaga and stuff like that, right?
Right.
But a lot of Japanese history is not in English. So while I wouldn't consider myself an expert, I do find the bits that I know about quite fascinating. And World War II Japanese history is very interesting.
Wild.
And it's also why I get into fights on Twitter a lot.
Japan is, let's just say this, Japan up until like the 80s has been the bad guy. Like, if you, and even past then, a lot of times they're still the bad guy, just like less bad. But historically, Japan is the bad guy.
This is why people are confused when I am very hardcore into Japanese, like, modern history, and why I really like Japanese pop culture, and all that sort of thing, and why I have an absolute adoration for Japanese culture. It's one of the most beautiful things in the world, like, genuinely. Like, it is one of the most beautiful cultures that's ever existed. And people get really surprised when they hear me talk about that. Yet at the same time, when they talk about, they talk about, you know, the atomic bombings or, like, other shit like that, and, like, the bombing of Japan, like, you know, and all this sort of thing, and the occupation of Japan after the war, and all that sort of thing, they're like, hold on, if you love Japan so much, why are you 100% okay with what America and the Allies did to Japan? I'm like, Google what they did to 500,000 Chinese people. They literally dropped them, they literally killed people. They killed 500,000 Chinese people with weaponized bubonic plague. They would drop chemical weapons on civilians. They would use POWs as, like, test subjects and dissect them alive. And I'm like, no, that's
Japan's
just the shit.
Bad guy.
They're the bad guy.
Here's the other thing, okay? Also, hi, Hyper Robo. Hi. Here's the other thing. Okay, so we have Japan during World Wars, right? Japan during the World War II, took over Joseon, now known as Korea.
Yep.
And also so they took over Joseon, and began planting Japanese military officials over in Korea in order to Japanify the country, essentially.
Yeah.
One of the things is that because they were doing that, a popular thing for the wealthier Koreans is that they would send their children over to study in Japanese universities, or people would move over to Japan as their cultures became more sort of immersed. If you were wealthy and a pro-Japan family in Korea, you often had a family move over to Japan, since it's not far. Then comes the Great Fire in Japan, from the fire that took out Tokyo from the Great Earthquake.
The Great Kanto earthquake, yes.
Yep. following after, this wasn't a Japanese military initiative, but the civilians themselves in Japan were so xenophobic that they blamed the fires on foreigners, and there was a mass slaughter of foreigners living in Tokyo as they were lynched and hunted down simply for living in Tokyo.
Yeah, so Japan is, even to this day, one of the most xenophobic, racist nations in the entire world. Even to this day. And okay. I'm going to try and not get too meta on this one, because I don't want to make too many people in chat angry.
Okay.
But you'll notice that a lot of people from certain political groups in the West, right, like to idolize Japan because of its clean streets and order and laws and, you know, all that sort of thing. Right? Yeah, Raisin. There you go. See? He gets where I'm going with this.
Yep.
Certain groups like to idolize Japan. And they talk about Japan being so successful because they're a homogeneous population. What is the effects of a homogeneous population? Well, let me put it to you this way. Everyone has had this experience, and even the trash taste guys, the popular face of, you know, Chris Broad and Trash Taste, the popular face of J-vlogging, right? Even they've experienced it. Giguk talks about it especially, where it's like, oh yeah, a Japanese police officer will be walking along, and he'll see a white man on the street. Maybe he'll stop him, maybe he won't. It's a 50-50. But he's 9 times out of 10 a British tourist or something. And like, oh, what are you here? Oh, you're from America? Oh, you're from Britain? Oh, what are you? You're here for a tourist? Oh, you're working here at a university? Or you're doing a computer software job for Sony? Okay, cool. Absolutely, that's fine. All right, no worries, thank you. You have a nice day, whatever. Yada, yada. It's all fine. Who's with you right now? Oh, it's me, Josh, Jake here. He's from California. Oh, great. Okay. Oh, we've also got our friend from Thailand. Where is he?
Yeah.
Where is that subhuman filth? I'm like, whoa, hold on.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like the moment you mention Chinese, Korean, Thai, Filipino, whatever, another group of Asians, Japan will the Japanese instantly switch flicks. Where are they? Where are the filthy visa dodgers? And you're like, whoa.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep. Yeah, Japan is pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Still, even. Yeah.
And it's just like, like, it's why I really get irritated and why I get into a lot of fight. As I said, I professionally fight on Twitter these days, it feels like. When the debate about discussions about the Allies' role in the late stages of the war against Japan with the strategic bombing and later the atomic bombings, is that the do-gooder like you know, bleeding hearts crowd, for lack of a better term, who are like, it was all war crimes, we evil white people were killing Japan and all that sort of thing. I'm like, okay. The problem is when they have that discussion, I feel like the way they frame the discussion about it and about Japanese war crimes in general, and like and how the Allies handled it, even though they mean well, quotation marks, they whitewash the conversation.
Yeah.
They whitewash it.
Yeah.
Because if you ask like Americans, you ask the British, they're like, oh my god, a British college student or an American college student will be like, oh my god, it was a war crime, it was horrible, it was terrible, this was evil, it was monstrous. And then you ask the Chinese or the Koreans or the Filipinos, and they're like, you should have dropped a third one, bro. Those fuckers deserved it. And you're like, why? Because at the time, people don't realize this, with the exception of the Philippines, at the time, the American military had made the conscious decision that they weren't going to directly challenge the Japanese occupation of Asia. They were going to take the islands necessary to build a strategic base from which they could attack the Japanese mainland, right? So they took like Peleliu, they took the Marianas, they took, you know, Iwo Jima and Okinawa, and the Ryukyu Islands. They took these to give themselves a launching pad to attack Japan directly. And aside from the Philippines and New Guinea, the rest of Asia was still under Japanese occupation in
It was.
1945.
Japan is the reason we have North Korea today.
Yes, they are.
Japan is the reason why North Korea exists.
Not only that, other things that aren't mentioned about the Japanese occupation of Asia. For example, did you realize that 2 million Vietnamese were starved to death by the Japanese government?
Oh, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, they were. Rice shipments and food for the Vietnamese population was shipped out of Vietnam to Japan.
So they pulled the UK on Ireland.
Yeah. Yep. At least that's just. It was more than that, yeah. But 2 million is the confirmed figure for Vietnamese killed under the Japanese occupation, right? And that occupation was still ongoing at the time the bombs were dropped. So thousands of people in Asia were dying every single day as a direct result of Japanese occupation.
That's wild.
However, that part of the discussion is immediately ignored because 2 white nations, the United States and the Soviet Union, although the Soviet Union's a bit hard to be called white given the Asian republics, but, Russia, were the 2 primary powers involved, and they were attacking Japan directly at the time. And so the entire Asian experience of the Second World War is not taught at all.
No, it's not. It's not really covered in Western history courses. I was gonna say, because I've taken split courses essentially between the U.S. and Canada. It wasn't taught in history in either of those countries, and I'm assuming the same for Australia.
History is an elective here. You have besides your basic history.
History is an elective?
So in Australia, you're taught history as part of SOS, which is Society and the Environment, right? And you're taught that until year 9, year 10.
Okay.
And then after that, history is an elective.
Oh, that's wild. See,
and even then, I wouldn't call history class in America. I wouldn't call history class in America as a history class. It's an American propaganda class.
Yeah. So even in Canada, well, you have to take history in Canada, but I guess the biggest difference for Canada is like one of our mandatory classes that gets dropped that you can choose as an elective once you're in secondary school is French. It's a requirement until you're in year 10 to take a French simply because it's
half of Canada speaks French.
As an American,
no, half of Canada
thank you
doesn't
for
speak
putting that
French.
into words. I hated U.S. history so much.
They just pretend they do because of the language police, but that's an entirely separate issue. I don't need to get started on the language police today. You're essentially forced to take it, as Canada wants to be a bilingual nation. It isn't, but it is what it is. C'est la vie. The only French I know.
Parlez-vous le français? Non.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Je suis. That I do know.
Yeah, that's about all I know. Voici la menu. And that was the last that I knew of French, essentially.
Goddamn. Rip the homie, guys. Oh my god.
It gets confusing learning here in Hawaii, being told of the Asian side and the American side. Also having old Call of Duty filling in the blanks. Oh, man. I haven't played Call of Duty in forever.
Call of Duty is great if you play the older ones. The older ones are quite good. Call of Duty World at War is still the best. Is still the best Call of Duty, in my opinion, anyway.
I I've been recently very, very, very addicted to watching prop hunt videos on TikTok.
Prop hunt is great. It's stupid, but it's great.
I haven't played Call of Duty in 10 years, but for some reason, prop hunt takes up like 90% of my TikTok feed. Just about, I would say.
Just about?
Just about 90%. The rest is food. I just food videos, and then like the rest, all the rest of it is just prop hunt videos. Basically a Geneva checklist. Canada knows all about Geneva checklists.
Canada's great for war crimes. Canada's an absolute blast.
We
sure
love
do
Canadian
some
war crimes. We'll apologize to you while we're doing it.
Oh, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, prop hunt was in Gary's mod, wasn't it?
Did they add prop hunt to Gary's mod?
They had it in Gary's mod. That's where I think Call of Duty got the idea from, actually.
Ooh, okay.
Years ago, like, oh, man, actually, that's a good point.
I haven't thought about Gary's mod in forever either.
Gary's mod is just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, you know what? You exist. You exist. Like, Gary's mod is just one of those things where it exists. Apart from that, I couldn't tell you.
What video games did you play back in like the Xbox 360 era?
Oh,
that Gary's mod sort of era.
I'm trying to think now. What games did I play the most in the Xbox 360? Okay.
Have a good night, Archibald.
Hello, good night.
Other than
I like
Skyrim.
Did play Skyrim, yes.
I think
everyone
I
played
worked
Skyrim.
the midnight release for Skyrim.
Oh, that's right. You worked at...
Yeah, I was the GameStop girl.
That's right. You were GameStop girl.
I was GameStop girl with the purple hair.
How does it feel knowing that every, and I mean every teenage boy from every surrounding school had a crush on you?
Here's the funniest fucking thing, is I was, this is gonna sound so shit. I knew that's what I was, right? And I used that to my full advantage against my very single and very sad manager. Where if I showed up to work and I was hungover, I would just like pout and complain about how my feet hurt, and he would pull up a chair and his laptop so I could watch movies and sit there for my entire shift.
Outstanding.
Yeah. Which, frankly, I was just playing the game, okay? If you could get paid to sit there and watch movies because you know your manager's thirsty for you, like, why wouldn't you?
Absolutely. The question is, chat, do we want a deep fried Mars bar?
Yes. Amkiro, thank you so much for the raid! Welcome in, Raiders! Hello, hello! My name is Maki, also known as Kaiju Kanajo. We're hanging out with Animarchyyt here and building some Gundams. How was your stream? What were you up to?
Absolute girl boss gatekeep gaslight move. Yes. Queen shit. Queen
Girl
shit.
boss gatekeep gaslight. I did. Okay.
Respect the hustle, guys.
Yeah. I had a hustle and I went for it. We're talking about how during my time at GameStop, I knew that I was the hot GameStop girl. And I gaslit my manager who had a crush on me into allowing me to be a lazy piece of shit and get paid for it. Simply by pretending to be sad and bat my eyelashes to get out of work and instead watch movies getting paid the entire time. So
I mean, you're doing the same thing now, just you've got bouncy anime titty instead.
I got bouncy
Like,
anime titties, except for I'm actually working. I'm building Gundams. Thank
Oh, there you
for
go.
the follow.
Ruth
Right?
babe. Yeah, look. Ruth babe.
Yeah. My entire job was to flirt with people to get them to spend more money on shit that they wouldn't otherwise buy. That was it. And like they knew what they were doing. No one's teenage boys are walking into GameStop not necessarily to look at games, but to go stare at the hot GameStop girl. And we all knew that.
Yeah,
We all
and
knew.
not only that, they went in to compare games. They went in to look at games. The GameStop, or EB Games as it is here, was just the default hangout for the nerdy dudes.
It was.
You didn't even like buy shit. You just sort of hung around there.
Yeah.
You know the funny part though? I'm gonna trigger a core memory chat. Ready?
Okay.
How many times did a middle-aged mom, as you North American continent people would say, how many times did one of them walk in and then ask to speak to your male manager to help them buy something because they didn't trust this filthy little female to assist them?
To be honest with you, never, because
Because I know a lot of that happened a lot.
manager was the picture of unkempt, greasy nerd who people did not really want to talk to.
Okay, because you see, the thing is, here in Australia, I have a couple of friends who were the gamer girl who worked at EB Games, and the amount of times they got the "Excuse me, can I speak to the nerd on shift because I don't trust this female who's obviously here for decoration to help." I'm like, wow.
No. Thankfully, I never had that happen. No. What I did happen to have very, very regularly, because the GameStop I worked at was in a wealthier area. So what we had instead was the brattiest, most obnoxious and rude, like 9 to 12-year-old boys coming in, dragging their mothers by their hands, trying to pick up the newest Saints Row game. And me having to sit there and explain to their mothers in detail, by the way, a major feature of this game is beating people to death with an oversized purple dildo. Is this what you want to purchase for your child? And them being like, yeah. No, this is exactly what my 9-year-old should be playing.
God damn.
They're still gonna blame you anyways? Yeah. Well, I did also get a fair amount of returns as well when they finally, or attempted returns, when they finally realized just how graphic a lot of these games were and that M-rated is actually M-rated.
Okay, look. I am going to absolutely defend Saints Row to the death. You know why?
Why?
Because Saints Row 2 is, without a doubt, one of the greatest games ever made.
I'm not saying it's not a great game.
Categorically, it is one of the greatest games ever made. The way they introduced it, because it's Saints Row 2 strikes that magnificent balance between wacky, goofy fun of Saints Row and the hardcore gangland bullshit of GTA. Mm-hmm. Right? It cuts that fine balance. Whereas the later Saints Rows just went too off the rails. And we don't talk about the Saints Row remake.
And we don't have to talk about it. It doesn't exist. Poof.
Doesn't exist.
Poof. But yeah, the amount of wealthy moms with their bratty teenagers or like bratty little kids coming in buying games that were wholly inappropriate, it was wild. Wild.
The one that got weird looks from me. When I think about it, when I think about the how to put it, the crazy moments of games where I got games that I was too young to play for sure. Fallout 3, I probably was too young to play, like at the time when
That's
I got
valid.
it.
Yeah.
However,
Fallout 3
I did
is
not
very
care.
dark.
I do not care. Like I was a teenager at the time, and yeah, look, Fallout 3. Like, when did Fallout 3 come out? Fallout 3 came out in what? That was 2008.
No.
Yeah,
Actually, yeah,
2008.
2008 sounds about right. Because I'm thinking about it. Skyrim came out 2011.
Yeah.
So 2008 sounds about right.
Yeah, I was like 14, 15, right? And I was just supposedly old enough to play it. I'm just like, I remember playing it. I remember my mum seeing the gore system in Fallout 3 and flipping her shit. She was like, "Oh my god." I'm like, "Yeah, well, you know." Actually, the gore systems in like some of the more hardcore. Actually, the game I was definitely too young to play, but because it was so cool, I played it anyway. I played the original Medal of Honor on PS1.
Oh, shit.
And I was too young to play that, probably.
Yeah, definitely too young if it was on PS1. Also, have a good night, Amp Kiro. Thank you again for the raid. I appreciate
But I
it.
figured, shooting Nazis in the dick doesn't count.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count. See, for me, I didn't get an opportunity to play video games really until I was about 16, I want to say. My family was very much so in the camp that video games were for boys. So it was inappropriate for girls to play video games. So I didn't really get to play a lot of video games until I got old enough that I could buy my own video games. So like my first era of being able to buy video games for myself was like, it just so happened to coincide with what I would say is peak online gaming, where everybody was playing the same game before nowadays there's so many different online games that like, you know, everyone's found their own niche. But back in the day, everybody that you knew was playing Halo Reach together.
Yep, including me.
Yep. So there I was. So I feel like that was probably the best time to be able to finally be able to play video games myself.
I guess you were a bit late. You went in on Halo Reach. I was with the gang. I was with the gang on Halo 3.
Yeah, no, I was a smidge late for Halo 3. I did still play it, but it was a little bit after Halo 3 was a thing. I also played a lot of Gears of War online multiplayer.
God damn. Now there's a throwback. I feel like that. Maybe it's just that era is nostalgia for me because we were in high school, we were teenagers, right? Mm-hmm. But there is something special about that era of gaming, I think.
There is something really special. And I think it's because maybe of the lack of options that were available. So everyone was all doing the same thing, you know? And there's not a lot of phenomenons, I feel like, in today's world where everybody you know is all doing the same thing. The last thing that I can think of that occurring is when season 1 of Game of Thrones was airing.
I would actually say that Helldivers got pretty close.
Helldivers got pretty close too. Yeah, Helldivers also got pretty close as well.
I will say, yeah. The one that everyone remembers fondly and we all talk about, and it's where boys
Oh,
became
Pokemon
men.
Go!
There's Pokemon Go. When boys became men, everyone in chat remembers when boys became men. We all remember defending the Burger Town. I remember defending the Burger Town. We held that Burger Town. We fucking held it. The Russians never got their hand on our beautiful capitalism. Those bastards.
When Pokemon
Wolverines.
Go came out, I spent hours, and I mean, I don't think I've walked more in a single summer in my entire life than the summer that Pokemon Go came out.
Pokemon Go was fire.
I remember going out and walking till like 1 o'clock in the morning and coming across other people who were also playing Pokemon Go, and then just kind of forming massive mobs of people walking around in the middle of the night playing this game together.
Yeah, and it wasn't sketchy because you weren't like going to SA someone or like sell drugs. No, you were literally just a bunch of people walking around trying to find a Pokemon.
Right?
It's just it's weird. The cops are just looking out the window like, what are you guys doing?
What the fuck is going on out there? I did get questioned by cops more than once for walking around slowly with my phone out.
There's a loogie around here somewhere, boss. I've got to go.
Sorry, I heard a rumor on Discord that there was a Charizard nearby. I gotta go. At that time I worked at a children's hospital. And felt very, very bad because that summer, instead of, it's a children's game, but instead of children being able to own the gym at the children's hospital, it was a war between the nurses, the doctors, and the lab people trying to fight over the gym. So anytime some kid managed to get a hold of one of the gyms being their only hope from their hospital bed, they can't walk, all they can do is spin their Pokemon Go stops and battle at the gym. The nurses or the doctors would come over and just like steal it away from them immediately. With much higher powered Pokemon because we were spending money on the game.
God damn, we I don't. You see, as a casual Pokemon fan, I don't think Pokemon ever got better to me than Pokemon Soul Silver.
Personally, I think that the Pokemon Legends games are significantly better than modern classic style Pokemon games.
You reckon?
Have you played it?
No, actually.
So, did you ever play Let's Go Eevee or Let's Go Pikachu?
Let's Go Eevee is actually the only Pokedex I've ever 100%ed.
So, they took the style of Let's Go Eevee, but added sort of like an exploration and battling system to it.
Okay.
So it's that same, you walk around the open world, you find Pokemon that are kind of scattered around their different environments doing things, and you can encounter them and fight them to weaken them and then catch them, sort of thing. But also there's quests and all sorts of story and that sort of thing. It's phenomenal. I couldn't recommend it more, honestly.
See, the reason why I liked Let's Go Eevee so much is because Let's Go Eevee was basically just a remake of the original Red and Blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
and so like it took a bit getting used to that, like capturing Pokemon gave your team XP instead of battling, which I think is cool. An XP share was a bit of a shock, right? Because back in my day, we didn't have no goddamn XP share. You had to grind, goddammit. You had to grind to get your level up.
Mm-hmm.
So, playing that, it took a bit of getting used to, but, playing through Pokemon Red and Blue again in just more modern graphics, and like, you know, I've got my party, I got my Charizard, I've got my Pidgeot, I've got, you know, everything rocking and rolling. You know, I was having a great time. I was having a nostalgia boner and a half. But I don't think anything will ever beat to me Gen 2.
Gen 2 is a great one.
Gen 2 was the best Pokemon series, was the best of the Pokemon series. Not just from a nostalgia perspective, just from the content. You had all 250 Pokemon in the game, right? You had all 250 Pokemon. Because now they've done this thing where they have like hybrid Pokedexes. Because there's so many Pokemon.
There's so many Pokemon.
There's over 1,000 Pokemon now.
There's so many.
There are like hybrid Pokedexes for different regions, right? So there will be a Pikachu or something here and there because, you know, you have to keep the big popular ones in the game because otherwise people won't like it.
Right.
You've got the big popular ones from all the other series, and then the main Pokedex for this particular region, right? And there's ice cream Pokemon. There's fucking God knows what else. There's like a brick or something, right? You know, you've got Pokemon.
Yeah.
Right? Second gen was all the Pokemon that had existed so far. It was a full Pokedex of 200. Of 250. I don't even think the modern games have a Pokedex as big as the second gens was.
Right.
And
no,
you
wasn't.
could travel across both regions, and there wasn't just 8 badges, there was 16.
Right.
You know what? And so Soul Silver, the remaster of Gen 2, is to me the best Pokemon game there's ever been. And until they come out with a proper 3D remake of Gen 2, Soul Silver for me is still going to stay the best.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get there eventually.
Just battling Red on the top of the mountain. Just yeah, boy.
Well, I think that's where we're gonna wrap up for the night. We've got mostly
we finished
built.
the Gundam.
The Gundam itself is done. Now we just have weapons left. So yeah, this is the Gundam Pharact from Mercury. So what I have left, I have his funnels that need to be built. I put his legs on backwards. Yippee! Yippee! I think so. No, I didn't. I just had his feet looking weird. Never mind. No, he's correct. I thought I put his legs on backwards for a second. No, we're good. That would be so me if I did, though. That's right. So he is our sniper Gundam. He's got these cool kickstands that pop out so that it can work as sort of like a tripod for sniping. He's pretty friggin' sweet. We've got 2 of the funnels built. I also have the sniper rifle that still needs to be built. So we're in the middle of building the backpack. Oh, yeah, the funnels that attach to the backpack. As well as the sniper rifle. So really just only 1.5 pages left to go. You got the arms on the right side, so that's a good build for you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm the queen of putting the hands on backwards, so...
You know what? That's fair. That's
can't
fair.
tell my left from right. Both looking at it and working on Gundams myself. So let me give you one more shout out before we get the heck out of here. Thank you for hanging out with me, homie.
It is all good, my man. It is all good.
I appreciate it. Is that the right one? No, it's Animarchyyt. Don't follow that one. Animarchyyt. We're gonna have to do it like this. Animarchyyt.
Or you can find me on Animarchy History on YouTube. That's where else you can find me.
There we go. Please go give Animarchyyt a follow. He's super fucking cool. Thank you for hanging out, my dog.
It is a pleasure. I would gladly do this anytime.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for being my voice today so that I didn't explode into another fit of coughing like I have been the last handful of times I've streamed.
Yeah, you know what? Best you don't, right?
Probably. Yeah. Okay, everybody, have a good night. Thank you for hanging out. We'll be back. My throat is better, so I'll be back on Wednesday. I don't have a schedule. I don't know what we're doing. There's no plan for it. We're really just, we're fucking winging it is what's happening. We're fucking winging it is what we're doing around here. And that's okay. Sometimes it just be like that. Sometimes it just be like that. Let's go ahead and get a raid out here. It looks like Radia is streaming.
Let's go
Good night,
attack Radio.
guys. Mwah. Oh, thank you for that, Pat. I appreciate it. Good night, friends. I'll see you on the flip side. Goodbye.
Attack Radio. Attack.